Welcome to Salem Hills High School tonight. The Spanish Fork Dons have made the trip to Salem Hills, where the Dons looking for that second key Region 10 win and to really put themselves in an opportunity to have a good hold on at least one of the four playoff spots. Salem Hills kicking off Region 10 play tonight. The Skyhawks do not have an easy task to open up Region 10 play. Ryan Pickens alongside. We welcome back Chris Hurst from Barcelona, as he had a nice week off, but now he's ready for some high school football tonight, huh, Chris?
Yeah, absolutely. Ready to be back here in the saddle and see Salem Hills play again, and Spanish Fork.
The kickoff will go deep and go about 5 yards into the end zone, and that will come out here to about the 20-yard line. And the Dons will now they'll start with the 20-yard line with their quarterback, Carson Chappell, who, Chris, we talked about. It's been a little while since we've seen the Dons, since about the first week of September. But we mentioned the development of Carson Chappell and the year he's having. He comes in with 820 yards passing, 9 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. And that 9 touchdowns and 3 interceptions might be a big key.
It is definitely one of our keys to our game, and also being able to run the ball with the Lomax as well.
Ready to go. Here's Chappell. He'll try to keep it on first down as the option play gets broken up, and Chappell will lose about a yard or so here on first down.
He picks up 3 that time, but yeah, a little read option that time. Maybe he should have gave it to Lomax. It looked like they had the option going on, but that wasn't open, so Chappell did what he could to get 3 yards up the middle that time.
It'll be 2nd and 7 here as Chappell will give it here to Mateen Lomax, and Lomax is going to be pushed back, and he'll lose a couple of yards on the play. It looks like it will be about a yard lost there for Mateen Lomax, and that's going to bring up a 3rd and 9 for Spanish Fork. And on a night like tonight where it's cold, where we've had some rain in pregame warm-ups and that field is soggy, you can kind of see it on your screen right now between the hashes. Really on that side of the field, there's nothing but some mud there. 3rd and long tonight may not be a position you want to get in if you're Carson Chappell and James Nelson, the quarterback for Salem Hills.
Well, the good news is the weather has cleared up quite a bit. It's not raining currently.
Chappell back to throw, looking, hit as he throws, tries to get it in there over the middle to Hunter Clark. And that one will go incomplete, and that will bring up 4th down. And Salem Hills will get their first attempt, a minute 15 into the contest, as Zeke Mangum will go back deep for the Skyhawks. He's at about his own 42-yard line right now, as he will wait to get the punt coming here from Stanton.
Yeah, Zeke Mangum, I believe he took one to the house against Maple Mountain.
Mangum back here at his 46-yard line. Stanton will punt here from his 10. That one there as they roll away, and here's the kind of low line drive kick. Mangum comes up, he fair catches it and gets hit immediately and dropped at around the 49-yard line, as that sparks some excitement from the Spanish Fork Dons sideline. And now we will see the offense come on the field, led by quarterback James Nelson himself, who's having a fantastic year for the Salem Hills offense.
Yeah, and he's been starting here for a couple of seasons. He has over 2,500 yards passing in his career and 760 yards this season. And Spanish Fork is definitely going to have to contain this Salem Hills pass attack.
So it'll be 1st down and 10, ball on midfield. They'll get it out to Garrett Lloyd. Lloyd pulled down from behind. A good tackle there by Gavin Campbell, number 52, from his defensive end spot. Campbell, one of the second leading tackler for Spanish Fork, coming in with 26 tackles on the night. And that will bring up 2nd and 12.
Campbell also has 4 big sacks this season as well.
4 wide receivers. They'll give it up the middle to Lloyd. He'll try to go and just kind of bulldoze. It looked like one of the Dons, but getting about 4 yards there to the Spanish Fork, about 49-yard line. They'll give them 3, and that sets up Salem Hills now in a 3rd and long here. The Skyhawks needing the 40-yard line to convert.
Yeah, both teams looking at going 3 and out on their first possession here. I think
Nelson will go back to throw, looking over towards the sideline, has a man. That's complete to Cole Griffin, and that will be a 1st down.
Ball be spotted at about the 37-yard line, which is good enough for another Skyhawk.
And that will be a first down coming up right here. Be first down and 10 here for Salem Hills. 9:39 to go here in the first quarter. Here's Garrett Lloyd, and right there it's Ben Boyack, the leading tackler for Spanish Fork, able to get there and pulls him down for about a yard loss, maybe back to the line of scrimmage if you're favorable there, if you're Garrett Lloyd, and that will bring up a second down and 10 here for for Salem Hills. The Skyhawks using that up-tempo offense like we've seen week after week here from the Skyhawks. Nelson rolling out, looking in the flat. That one thrown low and incomplete. Looking, I believe, was trying to get it to Via Tohi, and that will bring up a 3rd and 10 coming up here for Spanish Fork. 9:09 to play, first quarter. No score between Spanish Fork and Salem Hills. The Dons go on a quick 3 and out, and now as we get to a 3rd and about 10, another passing situation here for the Salem Hills Skyhawks. It didn't appear that it bothered James Nelson at all the last time. Nelson back to throw here, taking a shot into triple coverage. Griffin goes up and gets it, and he's pulled out inside the 10 at about the 6-yard line. Taking a big chance right there was Cole Griffin, and it was James Nelson trying to throw that one up into the triple coverage, but right there it was Griffin who uses the big 6'7" frame in order to get the first down, and it's going to be 1st and goal right now here for Salem Hills. Lloyd right up the middle inside the 5, trying to get the first down. He already has the first down, so it's 1st and goal, but Lloyd will get about a yard to about the 5-yard line.
That brings up a huge 2nd and 6.
And now it will bring up second and goal from the 4. Nelson rolling out, looking to the end zone, has a man, that's Zeke Mangum, touchdown Skyhawks. And Salem Hills goes Nelson to Zeke Mangum, and on homecoming night, Salem Hills is on the board.
Wow, and what a great drive by Salem Hills. I was talking there, but my mic wasn't working for a minute, but started off like the Spanish Fork Dons. But what a great little out pattern that time. Nelson's able to connect, and that is a 4-yard touchdown pass. And Salem Hills takes the lead in this critical Region 10 battle.
Extra point is good and through, and with 8:33 to go here in the first, Salem Hills gets on the board on a 4-yard touchdown pass from James Nelson to Zeke Mangum. And Chris, we talked about it a little bit in the opener, tried to. Both these quarterbacks have had great seasons so far, and one of those things tonight, with the field being as wet as it is, it could come down to which quarterbacks will throw the football a little bit better.
Yeah, absolutely. Both quarterbacks have had a stellar career. This is their 2nd year starting. They've got a lot of experience, and James Nelson showed a lot of composure on that drive as he led the Skyhawks down to that lead. And this is a huge battle. You don't want to. I believe both of these teams are going to make the playoffs this season. Spanish Fork's 1-0. This is Salem Hills' first playoff game. But you don't want to go up and play Region 12, because that is the all-Cache Valley region this year.
The closest trip would be Bear River, and that's just kind of at the mouth of the canyon as you get ready to go up to Logan. There's a low line drive kick. That one through the hands and into the end zone. And Spanish Fork will start with the football on their own 20-yard line. The last drive for the Dons kind of being pretty close to a 3 and out, but right now a chance here if you're Spanish Fork, who are wearing the white tops and the new black pants tonight, Chris. Generally we've seen the kind of the all white or the white and red look, but
white and gray.
Yeah, white and gray. But tonight we see a white and black look here as 3 receivers go to the top of your screen. Here's a give right up the middle. Again, this is going to be Lomax, who's going to be tough shedding there to get about a half a yard or so. We saw Maple Mountain a few weeks ago against Salem Hills have a hard time running through the middle. We have a late penalty flag that came in here about the 39-yard line. Maple Mountain couldn't really establish a running game up the middle against Salem Hills, and we see right off the bat as well of a personal foul penalty here against Salem.
Yeah, you're right. Salem Hills has definitely got a great interior defense in their linebackers, especially 17, there. I forget his name. Actually, 21. Viatoa, number 8. My apologies. Yeah, he comes up and he fills well. They've got great D ends for containing on those runs as well.
Chappell will throw, finds his man. That's going to be complete. Good enough for a Spanish Fork first down as they get it out to Noah Conway. Number 8, Conway coming in. That's his 20th catch of the year. The leading wide receiver for Spanish Fork when it comes to receptions. And they're only going to give him 9. They're going to say his knee went down before he could get the marker, and that's going to bring up a 2nd and 1. 8:09 to play, first quarter, 7-0 Salem Hills. Chappell from shotgun with 4 wide receivers, back to throw. Pump fakes, now throws towards the sideline, making a diving catch. Appeared to be, that's Hunter Clark, the wide receiver, and that's going to give a first down for Spanish Fork. It's going to move the chains to the 48-yard line, and both quarterbacks early on, Chris, showing that they have the ability to throw, even though that ball, especially because you think of it, that ball's picking up some moisture when it's snapped.
Yeah, and they're only rotating just a handful of balls through on each of these plays.
Chappell will roll out to the bottom of your screen, looking downfield, takes a kind of a medium deep throw, has his man, and that is going to be Wade Stanton. He's got a first down to the 35-yard line. Both quarterbacks right now showing they can throw the rock, and Spanish Fork now in business here with 7:51 to play in the first quarter.
Yeah, and Stanton's been one of the 2 chairs receivers. The other one's been Conway. Both those guys have over 300 yards receiving, so those have been really the 2 main targets for Chappell this season.
1st and 10, ball on the 36-yard line, back to throw. Chappell pump fakes, tries to put it down, and he is going to be sacked for our first 2 Jack's Pizza, 2 Jack's sack of the ball game. As getting there, I believe, was number 25, Jacob Rolfe.
Yeah.
The senior defensive end was the first one. A couple of Skyhawks, though, able to get there.
Yeah, Derek Burton is also there, and Derek Burton's just a sophomore for the Skyhawks. They have quite a few sophomores and juniors that play on this team.
2nd and 13 after the 3-yard loss, and Spanish Fork still content to spread the field. Mateen Lomax to the left here. He'll get the call right up the middle. Tries to break a tackle, but can't break the tackle of number 8. Chris talked about Brooke Viatoa earlier, and right there, a nice job by their open field tackle, Chris. He just basically kind of shoestringed him at the ankle.
Right, and the one game we watched, Salem Hills, it seemed like their defense got better as the game got along. They got more, making more short tackles, and they had last week off. They had a bye week.
They've had 2 weeks to prepare for Spanish Fork. It's 3rd and 10. Chappell rolling out, pressured from the backside, throws into double coverage. It's batted down, but a penalty flag comes in, as in coverage was number 34. That is Garrett Lloyd, the running back and defensive back, but Lloyd, it looks like, might have just gotten in there a little early for the early contact.
Yeah, and I was wondering if they were going to call late hit on Jacob Rolfe, as he got in there a little late, too, on the back side of that pass.
It's the 2nd penalty, and the 2nd major penalty being about 10 or more yards. That one's 15, and it's going to be another first down. And Chris, those are the penalties, especially here. We talk about it. This is a rivalry game. Schools are separated by just a few minutes up and down the road, and this is a game both teams want to win.
Right, and these kids have been in accelerated ball against each other, know each other well.
Lomax breaks a couple tackles, still on his feet inside the 10. He's down to the 5-yard line. First down, Spanish Fork, and a nice job there by Lomax, almost getting into the end zone, but now Spanish Fork in one of those positions. The last time we saw Spanish Fork against Maple Mountain, they had a hard time converting in these goal-to-go situations.
Yeah, especially in the first half.
Here's Lomax straight ahead, cuts through the middle. He's going to be down towards the goal line. He'll be short, but it looks like about a yard, maybe a yard and a half, depending on the spot, will bring up a 2nd and goal.
And I bet we're going to see a heavy dose of Lomax here down at the goal line. When you're this close, you might as well just keep giving it to him just to get that extra yard or 2.
Boyack in there as the fullback. There's a high snap. Chappell trying to get the corner. Chappell will be pushed out of bounds. It looked like Rolfe getting there, and number 22, that's Alex Baker, the defensive end. They'll lose about maybe another half yard or so, and it'll bring up 3rd and goal from the 2. And Chris, that's a situation where we see maybe the first time tonight where that wet ball really affected the play.
Well, that and the snap was a little high, and that could be because the center had a difficult time handling with the wet ball. But when you're not going under center down low or close to the goal line, sometimes you have those issues with snaps in the shotgun formation.
3rd down and 3 right now. Here's Chappell, gives it right up the middle. Lomax, he's trying to get in a big pile of Dons and Skyhawks. He'll be short. In fact, given the spot, it looks like he didn't get very much, Chris, maybe a half a yard.
Yeah, he didn't get anything at all. And Ryan, as you mentioned earlier, Spanish Fork had a hard time against Maple Mountain, punched it in. Once again, they do have a hard time here, and they'll have to settle for a field goal.
Which is not what you want right now, I'm sure, if you're head coach Preston Parrish, because now, Chris, talk about this here quickly. With the wet field, there's a few things that you have to be a little more careful of here with kicking tonight.
Yeah, the snap, and then the kicker's not going to have as sure a footing as he usually does.
Snap is down, the kick is up, and it is going to be through. And so on with the kick there was Spencer Red. And with 4:35 to go in the first quarter, it's a 7-3 lead here for Salem Hills. Let's take a moment here to thank our sponsors on Spanish Fork 17.
We'd like to thank the car guys, Dickerson Automotive, Lance Wilson State Farm Insurance, Triple T Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, Mikkel Christiansen, Wise Attorneys at Law, MVP Sports, and 2 Jack's Pizza. We'd like to thank these sponsors for making this and other broadcasting possible here on SF17. And also, you can stream. We'd like you guys to like us on Instagram and Facebook and social media, and you can stream these games live on YouTube. It's a pretty awesome service that Channel 17 provides for its citizens and anybody actually around the world. I've watched these broadcasts from Italy before when I couldn't sleep. I watched the Maple Mountain Spanish Fork game that you did, Ryan.
And listening to me put you to sleep, right?
No comment. We'll move on to the football game here.
4:35 to go in the first quarter. A 7-3 lead right now for Salem Hills. Back deep to receive. It's going to be Ty Collister, the junior running back, as ready to go here. The kick is underway, and that's going to be over towards the sideline. It's going to roll and go into the end zone, so Callister will watch it go into the end zone, and the Skyhawks will start with their next possession with the ball on the 20-yard line.
And something I just noticed, the Saili was the one that kicked that time. They changed who's kicking it, and that was a perfect kick. They put it in the spot where the Skyhawks couldn't get it, and then also rolled out of bounds in the end zone. A little too close to the end zone, but nonetheless, Salem Hills will have to start at their own 20.
So it'll be 1st down and 10, ball on the 20-yard line, 4 wide receivers. Here's the give. It's Viatoa up the middle, and Viatoa will get a couple of yards out across to right around the 22-yard line, as it was Ben Boyack getting in on the tackle. Now bring up a 2nd and 8 right now here for Salem Hills as we play here in the first quarter. 4:15 to play, 7-3 lead for the home team, the Salem Hills Skyhawks. 2nd and 8, back to throw. Nelson gives it on the reverse, trying to get Mangum outside. He'll cut it back up through the middle, get a nice couple of yards there. Didn't have much trying to get to the outside, but cutting it back up to the middle, Chris might have there got him another yard or two.
Got him another yard, but he wasn't able to get the edge. That was a great job by the Dons defense, pushing everything to the middle. That's where your help's going to be, and that's what limited that play to just a gain of 3 yards.
3rd and 6, they go to a bunch formation to the top of your screen. Nelson steps up. He's going to try to put it down, looking for the 1st down. He gets tripped up just shy of the marker, as I believe it was Caleb Lundquist, number 14, who just quickly was able to grab kind of not quite a shoestring, but kind of an ankle tackle there. Nelson wasn't able to stretch across the marker, but it's 4th and 1 from the 29.
Skyhawks are lining up to go for it. They might be just trying to draw the Dons off sides, but
Cole Griffin there is a moment late here getting on the field. High snap, they get it down. Viatoa hits the line, but it's going to be able to get enough for the first down. Still on his feet to about the 33-yard line, and right there just kind of uses the power as a flag comes in. Don and a Skyhawk kind of getting into it there maybe after the play. We'll wait and see here. And in these kind of rivalry games, Chris, you expect, especially early on, you're going to see a couple of those kind of maybe excitement fouls or those ones where it's just kind of getting a little chippy.
Yeah, it's getting a little chippy early, but wow. Salem Hills rolls the dice and goes for it on 4th and 1 and gets it, and they're waving that flag off. What a gutsy call there by the coaching staff, Harry Schwenke and his team there. Keep this drive alive, but if you don't get that, the Dons would have had an excellent field position.
Harry Schwenke taking a chance there, but now it pays off in a 1st and 10 from the 33-yard line for Salem Hills. Rolling out, Nelson throws that one high, incomplete right there. Trying to get it out there. Trying to get out there to Billy Schwenke, but that one almost a dangerous throw there, Chris, because a couple of Dons lurking in the secondary there. That could have been a pick.
That could have been a pick, and that was a good coverage by Riley Hess, and that ball was high, and nobody was going to get to that one.
2nd down and 10, ball on the 33-yard line. Salem Hills, hasn't really done a lot of huddling tonight, but now looking over towards the sideline. Some confetti going here from the student section here on homecoming night as Nelson will roll out. Pressure comes, stops, looks, sets up the screen, and nearly intercepting it was number 21, Zach Buse. The senior defensive back there read that perfectly, Chris, and almost paid off big for Spanish Fork.
And that whole defensive line did a great job of recognizing, hey, I'm getting through this line way too easy. And so, I saw Gavin Campbell drop back into coverage, and they read that play well. That play was doomed from the beginning.
3rd and 10 here with 4 wide receivers on the play. And Nelson back to throw. Pressure comes. He gets away from it. Steps up, takes a shot deep into double coverage. This one going up to the highest points is intercepted by Caleb Lundquist. Lundquist, however, pushed back and will be brought down around the 21-yard line. The ball tipped by Spanish Fork. I believe it was number 12, Way Stanton, who got there and kind of tipped the ball, but Caleb Lundquist was right there.
Yeah, and that was an errant pass by Nelson that time. There were 4 or 5 Dons back there to only 2 Skyhawks, and he just threw it as deep as he could. And great job by the Dons in coverage there, and Lundquist hustling from his corner position to make that pick way back there.
We saw that earlier on, Nelson took a shot deep like that, and it nearly got picked. That one worked for him in the first quarter, the jump ball to Cole Griffin, and Salem Hills wants to take a timeout here with 2:39 to go in the first quarter. So, impressions so far, Chris, we've seen both offenses have some success. We've seen, though, this idea Salem Hills has seen no problem taking some chances, and they're kind of 50-50 so far.
Yeah, they went for it on 4th and 1 and got it, but when they've thrown it deep, they had that interception. This is a huge game here. As we look at the region, the teams that are in region, I think the region's really going to, in my opinion, come down to 3 teams. Orem, Salem, and Spanish Fork. So whoever, these Salem Hills starts right out of the gate with Spanish Fork, and then next week I believe they play Orem. So that's going to be critical for Salem Hills to get off to a hot start. I wonder if that's why they threw that bye week in before these 2 games, just to get a little more amped up for region play.
Spanish Fork doesn't see Orem until the final game of the year next month. Hard to believe we're already talking about the final game of the year, but really when you take a look at it, Spanish Fork, if they can get past tonight, you have to like the idea that the next 3 against Payson, Mountain View, and Uinta, not against Uinta, Payson, Mountain View, and
is it Timpanogos?
I guess Salem, sorry. Yeah.
Salem.
You have to think that those games are winnable ball games. Uinta already playing Spanish Fork, and the Dons went over to Vernal and won big. Here's Chappell from shotgun on 1st and 10. Lomax right up the middle, nothing going on as it was Baker and Viatoa getting there from his linebacker spot, and that's going to bring up a 2nd down and about 9. Lomax lucky there to get about a half yard.
Yeah, and the one thing when you spread the field like Spanish Fork does with all those wide receivers, and you don't really have a tight end in there, sometimes it's tough to run. You don't have a fullback either. So that's pretty much just 5 guys at Lomax.
Be second in about 9.5 or so. As Chappell back to throw, he's looking over the middle, throws off his back foot, getting there
gotta be a flag.
Was Cole Griffin, and now there's a penalty marker in the backfield as number 11, I believe that was Cole Griffin, the defensive back, getting there way early. The question is it there or is it in the backfield on the hit on Chappell?
The penalties in the backfield is a hold, but that was definitely pass interference. He got there way early. Cole Griffin, I don't know why. I mean, there probably was a hold, but the penalty should be offset, and we should be playing second down because Griffin got there way early, and I don't know how the officials didn't see that.
Cole Griffin playing back there at the safety spot. You don't see him in your picture quite yet, but he's right about the 25-yard line or so, kind of just playing center field back there. Spanish Fork will now be back in a second 22 from their own 10. 4 receivers, 3 to the top of your screen. Rolling out, Chappell looking down towards the sideline, throws that one complete. That's Saili out to right around the 20-yard line. So a good pickup of 8 there to get something back, but it's going to bring up a 3rd and 12. And not what you want right now is to try to force Carson Chappell to have to go deep, but have to kind of wonder here if maybe we'll see John Kemp take a shot here if you're Spanish Fork.
Yeah, we'll see if they take a shot or if they decide to maybe run a draw play or something like that. Be a little more conservative.
They need about the 32-yard line here to move the chains. Shotgun set here for Chappell, back to throw. Pressure comes, they throw the screen. Here's Conway across the 25, and he'll get to about the 28-yard line. He'll be about 3 yards short or so. Has a nice job by Conway there to get something. As Jacob Rolfe got in on the tackle, that brings up 4th down.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, that's the second 3 and out here in the first quarter for Spanish Fork, and you got to keep your defense off the field a little bit longer, especially as this game goes on. Your defense will get worn out.
Stanton goes here, the nice punt. Going back deep on it is Mangum. He's just going to let it bounce. Picks it up on the bounce, trying to get outside. If he can get the corner here, look out. He won't get the corner, however. Brought down around the 34-yard line, and now a penalty flag coming in at the end of the play. Looked like potentially a late hit against the Skyhawks. And with 1:10 to go in the first quarter, we'll have to wait to see here. Right now, it sits Salem Hills getting the ball at about the 35-yard line, but we'll have to wait and see here what the penalty is going to be.
Yeah, and on that field goal drive, that's exactly what aided Spanish Fork, was 30 yards worth of penalties.
Be a block in the back against Salem Hills, and so that will move them back here to start their next drive. The Skyhawks scoring here in the quarter on a James Nelson to Zeke Mangum 4-yard touchdown strike. They give the Salem Hills Skyhawks a 7-3 lead here with 1:10 to play in the first quarter.
Yeah, and Salem really could take control of this game by having a nice drive here.
Nelson from shotgun, Lloyd the back. Here's the throw over the middle. They got Rolfe, and they got him in stride. One man left to beat, trying to catch him, and Rolfe is going to be pulled down inside the 10 to about the 8-yard line as Trey Lofton put on the jets and was able to pull him down. But there, Jacob Rolfe showing his speed as he takes it all the way inside the 10.
Yeah, he picks up about 70 yards on that catch as Rolfe just ran a little slant route from his tight end position, and great timing by Nelson to hit him in stride, but there was some poor defense that time by the Dons secondary.
Nelson from shotgun here. He'll give it up the middle. Lloyd looking for the end zone, and he's going to get down to about the 5-yard line here as the clock runs under a minute. Not much there on 1st and goal here for Lloyd.
Now, I don't know if you can hear the PA announcer here, Ryan, but he's the most excited PA announcer I've ever seen.
And there's Salem Hills in. It's Rolfe for the touchdown. And with 27.8 to play here in the quarter, as some more fireworks go off from the baseball field here, it's a 13-3 lead for Salem Hills.
Yeah, Nelson and Rolfe finish what they started on that drive, as they had that huge connection for about 68 yards they got it as, and then they connect on that 5-yard touchdown pass, and Salem Hills is in the driver's seat of this ball game.
There will be a penalty against Salem Hills. It will be the penalty there will be assessed now on the kickoff. And those are the things that kill you. And now a penalty. Oh, no, I'm sorry. They must have been something else.
I think the penalty is going to be assessed on the kickoff there. So Salem Hills will just try the extra point from the normal distance.
Baker ready to go here for the extra point, and now the whistles blow, and I believe Spanish Fork was pointing against Salem Hills, and now we will have a penalty against the Skyhawks, a legal procedure call, and that will move the extra point back here for Salem Hills.
Yeah, sloppy play by both teams as there's been quite a few penalties and one turnover. It's not exactly been crisp football here in the first quarter.
Snap is high, the hold is good, the kick looks good, and it is good. And with 27.8 to play here in the first quarter, Salem Hills has gone up 14-3 right now on Spanish Fork. And Chris, when you take a look at it, it's been a couple of big plays on the first drive to set up the touchdown. It was the ball thrown from James Nelson to Cole Griffin on the deep ball. And then here, just a little slant route to Rolf, and Rolf takes it the rest of the way to inside the 5.
Yeah, he takes it to about, I think he took it to the 7, but regardless, it was a huge pickup. And I've got Nelson at around 150 yards already in the first quarter alone. He's came out on fire. He looks a lot better tonight than when we saw him 2 weeks ago against Maple Mountain. He's definitely got his timing down, and people are running the routes, and he's hitting them in stride.
He's fired up right now, just watching him on the sideline here on homecoming week. Pre-game, you had Porter Gustin, the former Salem Hills quarterback and linebacker, the current USC defensive end. He's in attendance tonight, so a lot of people excited to see Porter Gustin in pre-game.
Unfortunately for Gustin, it sounds like he just recently had foot surgery, so he's going to miss some time for USC.
Baker set to kick it away. They'll do kind of this high short kick. Spanish Fork will just kind of pick it up and immediately try to fall on it. We saw that a couple of times last week here on Spanish Fork 17. Maple Mountain actually recovering an onside kick in that one at the time when Maple Mountain had just scored. And Lehigh actually tried a couple of times with that short pooch kick and couldn't come up with it. And there again we see that other one. Ball on the 45-yard line when you're kicking off from the other team's territory. Why not take the shot, right?
Absolutely. The one thing Spanish Fork can do on that, though, is call a fair catch.
High snap. They get it down. Here's Lomax looking to try to get outside, and this time Lomax maybe getting a half a yard. Salem Hills has done a great job of contain, not letting Lomax really get outside, and they did that against Maple Mountain 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, absolutely. Spanish Fork is struggling to run the ball. I wonder if at what point, now I don't suggest abandoning the run game, but at some point Spanish Fork might have to abandon the run game and just try and air it out in a shootout.
We've reached the end of the first quarter here from Salem Hills High School. It's the Skyhawks 14, the Spanish Fork Dons 3. You're watching high school football on Spanish Fork 17. Second quarter coming up after the break.
Need a new car or truck? The Car Guys has the best selection of used vehicles at the best prices in Spanish Fork. The Car Guys know their automobiles to get you the best car for your needs and your budget. The Car Guys at 872 North Main in Spanish Fork.
Is this my car?
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments, there's one of these. That's why State Farm is there, with car insurance for when things go wrong, but also here with car loans to help life go right.
Call State Farm agent Lance Wilson today.
Nobody plans on getting in an accident, but if it does happen, you can rely on the expertise of Mike McKell to protect and fight for your rights. Specializing in personal injury law, Mike McKell is the attorney you need. Contact Mike at McKell, Christiansen, and Wise.
Second quarter here from Salem Hills High School. The Dons in a 2nd and 9 from their own 23-yard line. Ryan Pickens and Chris Hurst here momentarily. There's Carson Chappell. That one out attended there for, I believe that was Hunter Clark. Sorry, that was Noah Conway. That one incomplete. Brings up a 3rd and 9. We forgot to mention earlier, but let's take a look at tonight's Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing keys to the game here as we start here the second quarter.
Yeah, we had for our keys of the game that the Dons needed to maintain a balanced attack with both Chapel and Lomax. Also, they needed to contain James Nelson and the Skyhawks attack. F so far on that. And then they need to play 4 quarters of football because we saw Salem Hills play all 4 quarters last time they were in action.
It'll be 3rd down and 9. Chapel rolling out to the strong side. Baker immediately hits him in the backfield as Chapel throws that one incomplete. That brings up a 4th down. Carson Chapel there just kind of rolled right into Alex Baker, and you have to wonder there, is that on the quarterback or is that more on the tackle there for not getting Baker inside?
Well, that's a combination of the play call and the way the defender decided to blitz and all of the above, like you mentioned. But well, one disturbing trend with Spanish Fork is they started out pretty hot last season in the preseason and then struggled once region play got going. And it seems like maybe they might fall into that same mode this season as last week they got blown out.
As that punt there goes, and we'll just kind of take a roll. You're seeing Zeke Mangum, the return man for Salem Hills. He's coming on the same side of the field. They snap it with Stanton. And you have to kind of wonder here, with Way Stanton, with his ability to take off on the punt, you have to think right now Salem Hills trying to protect that part of the game.
Yeah, and that's smart because Stanton's a great athlete, and we've seen him take it, and he's got, I believe, the green light to go ahead, and if he sees an opening, take the ball. But Salem Hills has done a great job of containing him on the punt.
Nelson from shotgun. He'll look to try to throw up the screen. Now he will have to try to run for it. And getting there and getting the 2 Jacks Pizza quarterback sack is number 15. That is Tay Palapoy getting there from the defensive end spot.
Yeah, great job by getting in there as well and slowing him down. And that was a great pressure by the Dons that time as there was a breakdown in Salem Hills pass coverage.
Palapui getting in there on the tackle or on the sack, and now it's going to be 2nd and 11 right now here for the Skyhawks. Back to throw, steps up and being thrown down again in the backfield. This time another 2 Jacks Pizza quarterback sack. This one though going to, I believe,
that's Gavin Campbell, and it's his 5th sack on the young season. And I think that play might have been a design run to Lloyd that time, or via Lloyd, pardon me, but the snap was high. And Spanish Fork jumps off sides as they're fired up, and you got to contain yourself as they just gave up the 5 yards they gained on that sack.
It'll be 3rd down and 19 here from, sorry.
It's going to be a 3rd and 14 with the offside.
So it'll be 3rd down and 14. Salem Hills will need now to get to the 45-yard line here in order to try to see here what they can do to get the marker there.
And the way they've been playing, they might go for it on 4th and anything tonight.
Nelson from shotgun, back to throw with some time, stepping up, looking into one-on-one coverage, has a man in stride. That is complete to Tyrese Williams, and Williams will have a 1st down. No, they're going to say it's incomplete.
He bobbled it and hit the ground, and that was an excellent pass by Nelson that time. Williams was unable to come up with it, but man, Nelson's looked very crisp tonight. And, you know, he's looked very good since that second half of that Maple Mountain game where he was able to turn that on.
So now we'll bring up 4th down and 14. And we will see right now as back deep for Spanish Fork, it's Saili and number 12, Way Stanton. Back to put a foot into it will be number 17, Josh Crippen for Salem Hills.
Yeah, that was a great job by the Spanish Fork defense on that possession, especially the linebackers and defensive line on getting pressure on Nelson that time and really disrupting that passing attack.
High snap, Crippen can't handle it. Now he's just going to have to run, and the Dons will drop him back at about the 12-yard line. And Spanish Fork will take over a really good field position. As right there's another situation, Chris, where we see the wet field probably have some sort of effect on the ballgame.
Well, I don't know if it's the wet ball or, I mean, it's definitely hard to snap it with the wet ball, but Nelson, the quarterback, seems to like to grip it with the wet ball. I don't know, but either way, that's a gift for Spanish Fork, and a second. It's a turnover on downs essentially, but a huge change of momentum in this ball game possibly.
And so now we'll see Spanish Fork as getting down inside the 5-yard line there. Look to be Saili.
Yeah.
And Spanish Fork will be first and goal from the 5.
The ball was a little low that time by Chapel, but at the same time, they've got second real short here.
And this is one of those situations, Chris, where Spanish Fork really needs to find a way to get in the end zone.
Yeah, they're trailing 14-3 here with 10-17 to go here in the second quarter as our scoreboard's not working on our broadcast.
Chapel from shotgun, Lomax ready to go. Here's the give up the middle. Lomax trying to dig for it. He'll go down to about the 4-yard line. Some extracurricular, but the official will just come in and break it up. And now that's going to bring up a 3rd down and goal from about the 4-yard line.
It's 3rd and inches. They can get a 1st down here, but at the same time, we've seen Spanish Fork, once they get into this territory of the field, they cannot run the ball. I think at some point you got to bring in a tight end, you got to bring in a fullback, because the field compacts and your defenders don't have to cover anything because they got the 12th defender, the end zone, in pass coverage.
Chapel back to throw, looking for the back corner, fade route there, and it's going to go incomplete, looking there for Stanton, and now it's going to bring up 4th and about a yard. I have a pole right here, right in front of me, and it's right about the spot where I would see the 1st down marker, and now it's going to be 4th and 1 from the 4, and the offense coming off the field here if you're Spanish Fork, and a timeout going to be called, I believe, here by Spanish Fork. You have to think right now, if you're Preston Parrish, Chris, you really have to come away with points right now here inside the 10.
Yeah, on the one hand, field goal gets you within 8. That's one possession. But on the other hand, man, when you get the ball at the 12, you've got to punch that ball into the end zone. And it's been their inability to run in the red zone that's really haunted this team.
And it'll be interesting to see the next couple of weeks. You get Payson next week, and then you're going to get a Mountain View team that's an improving program. Still a lot of work there still to do up in Orem, but still those are games where you're talking about trying to finish in the top 4. You really don't want to go up to Logan, I think, to open up the playoffs. You really want to finish in the top 2.
Right, you don't want to go up to that Cache Valley area. You'd rather have them make that long drive down here, and that's a tough region up there, that region 12.
4th and 1, the give. Chapel on the keeper, looking for the end zone. Touchdown, Spanish Fork. Carson Chapel gets it in from 4 yards out. A big touchdown there for Spanish Fork.
Yeah, great job by Spanish Fork cutting this lead to 5 with 9:22 to go here in the second quarter. But that was nice. Nice play fake that time. They've been just handing off to Lomax. However, on that one, they when Chapel kept it, they were not expecting that at all.
And so now kind of the swinging gate look. Conway's going to roll out looking for 2. Throws at the back of the end zone. Has a man for the 2-point conversion. It is good. Right there, I believe it was Saili who makes the catch, and a big 2 points. However, it looks like a penalty marker may negate the 2-point conversion there.
My guess is it's going to be an eligible receiver downfield, but they're waving it off. Looked like everybody ran into the end zone that time on that pass play. I don't know.
And so a big touchdown there for Spanish Fork. They're able to cap it off right there with a touchdown. And with 9:22 to go in the second quarter, it's a 14-11 lead for Salem Hills. A big touchdown there for Spanish Fork. The defense has found a way to get a couple of stops, but now the offense really right now having to try to make a play.
Yeah, and I think they got great field position there at the 12 and were able to punch it in, but the key was the pressure that they were able to get on Nelson, and Salem Hills also had a drop pass. So I think Spanish Fork needs to keep bringing that pressure. At this point, don't respect the run. James Nelson's throwing the ball out of his head. He's on target on every single one of his passes. As we see 9:22 to go here in the second quarter. Salem Hills is the home team leading 14-11.
And so we'll see Saili will once again kick it off here for Spanish Fork. The Dons in the white tops and black pants. Salem Hills in the sky blue tops and white pants here with these sky blue helmets as Saili puts a foot into it. This is going to be a high short kick. Fair catch is going to be called, and it's going to be made there by number 28. That is going to be Sam Hughes, the sophomore. As just does this thing that you mentioned on the last short kick, just call fair catch.
Yeah, that's heads up, and that's great coaching by the Salem Hill staff, telling your players they can't hit you on that. You can go ahead and catch it because you're not, in most instances, you're not going to be able to return the ball just because they're running so fast at you and they're so close in coverage.
They'll bring up 1st and 10, ball at about the 37-yard line for James Nelson and the offense ready to go. 4 wide receivers here as it's going to be Lloyd here to the right of the quarterback, James Nelson. 3 receivers to the bottom of your screen right now for the Skyhawks. Here's the screen pass, looking to get it out there. Here's Mangum. Makes one man miss. No, he did not. A great open field tackle by Trey Lofton, as Lofton able to just get enough there of Mangum, Chris, to knock him down after a gain of about a yard.
Yeah, Mangum was just one shoelace away from getting upfield, but Mangum's, they list him at 142. So he's not the biggest guy, only 5'6", but the defender, that Lofton, that time just got enough to bring him down.
2nd and 7. Here's Lloyd on the carry, and this time going nowhere, as I believe he ran into Bubba Rupena, the defensive tackle, and there's going to bring up a 3rd down. And now it seems to be that Spanish Fork defense upping their game, and right now has Salem a little kind of not necessarily confused, Chris, but trying to find their identity again.
Right, they brought a lot of pressure. Salem Hills tried to counter with that little bubble screen to the outside, but Lofton stopped that play, so that brings up a critical 3rd and 7 here.
Nelson back to throw with some time, looking over the middle, has Rolfe, and Rolfe is going to have enough for a 1st down, a second effort there, able to maybe be the difference between 4th and inches and a 1st down, and Salem Hills gets to the 49-yard line.
Yeah, Ben Boyack was in coverage that time for Spanish Fork, and he was in pretty good position, but Nelson is just putting the ball where he needs to tonight.
Here's the give right up the middle. I believe once again that's Lloyd on the carry. And Lloyd will get a couple into Spanish Fork territory to about the 48-yard line. And that brings up a 2nd and about 7 here. Under 8 minutes to play. 7:45 here to go before halftime. A 3-point Skyhawk lead. Nelson rolls out. That one in and out of the hands of Rolfe and will fall there in front of Riley Hess, the defensive back. And that brings up 3rd down.
Yeah, once again, a drop by Salem Hills, and Nelson put the ball right where he needed to. That was pretty good coverage, though, once again, by Spanish Fork. He's throwing his receivers open tonight, Nelson is.
Will be 3rd down and 7. Salem Hills needing right around the 42-yard line to get a 1st down. Here's Mangum trying to get outside, slow down in the backfield, and runs right in to Gavin Campbell. And a nice job by Bubba Rupena, Chris, of slowing Mangum down, and Gavin Campbell in there to finish it off.
Yeah, Rupena is a big dude. They list him at 305 pounds, and he fired in there and really disrupted that play, and Gavin Campbell finished it up. I've been very impressed with this defensive line the last 2 possessions that Salem Hills had, and we'll see if Salem Hills can snap it this time.
Crippen in, that one high over the head, and flags fly. Spanish Fork will fall on it back at the 18-yard line. I'm not sure if that was, it looked to be an attempt at a fake with the way Salem Hills just took off ahead. We'll see what the penalty markers, however, is for. And we'll see here if you're Spanish Fork and the Dons are coming. And we'll have to see here if this is here. I'm trying to figure out what the penalty marker, once that snap came, about 3 penalty flags came, Chris.
I think it was a guy moved forward, the punter moved forward before the snap, which is a legal procedure. However, they were definitely not on the same page there, and it looks like they're going to give Spanish Fork the ball. It was an illegal shift, 2 guys in motion that time for Salem Hills, and the snapping for Salem Hills is single-handedly putting Spanish Fork back on those punt snaps have been just horrible. I'm almost at a loss for words after that last play.
And now Spanish Fork will try to take advantage right there of their second short field of the night, back inside the red zone at the 17-yard line. A couple scores quickly to pass along here in Region 10. Orem's up 21-0 at Mountain View. That's, I guess, really only one really to pass along right now.
And we'll see if Spanish Fork can punch it in and take the lead here, trailing 14-11 here at Salem Hills High School.
1st and 10 right now. Chapel from shotgun, one back, and now whistles blow, and I'm thinking potentially Spanish Fork called the timeout before the snap, and right there they'll call timeout. So the Dons will use a timeout with 6:56 to go. Let's take a moment here on Spanish Fork 17 to thank our sponsors for making this broadcast possible each and every Friday night. We want to thank the Car Guys, Lance Wilson State Farm Insurance, MVP Sports, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Two Jacks Pizza, McKell, Chris Jansen, and Wise Attorneys at Law, and Dickerson Automotive for making each and every broadcast possible. We also want to remind you can follow our pages on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram to keep up with the latest shows, live broadcasts, and our Spanish Fork 17 staff. Just look for Spanish Fork 17. Next Friday night, we're back at Spanish Fork High School. We'll be with the Dons again as the Payson Lions will come to town. And what should be a fun key region game. Payson could be 2-0, Chris, in Region 10 heading into that one.
And depending on this game, Spanish Fork could be as well. That could be a huge battle.
Chapel back to throw, looking over the middle, trying to get it to Conway, but right in Conway's coverage there was number 6, and that is Merrill Morley, the junior linebacker. And now that's going to bring up a 2nd down and 10. Trying to get it over the middle, a similar play that we saw Salem Hills run to Jacob Rolfe, just trying to get the little tight end slant route.
Yeah, great coverage that time by Morley, and they shut that play down in a hurry. Curious to see if Spanish Fork just tries to air it out on this drive, as it looks like Salem Hills is still bringing 6 in the box. There's only 5 guys to block.
Chapel back to throw with some time, looking over the middle, has a man, and that one incomplete, looking for, once again, Conway on that middle slant route, and that brings up 3rd and 10.
Yeah, it's pretty much forced yourself into another throwing situation. Now, unless you're planning on going for it on 4th here, you could maybe try and run some sort of option play with Lomax and Chapel. I think that's worked well tonight for Spanish Fork in stretches.
Back to throw. Chapel looking towards the end zone. That one now going to be pulled down around the 10. Saili fighting his way, pushed out of bounds at around the 6-yard line. And that's going to bring up about 4th and a yard. And you can bring on the kicker here to tie it, Chris, but with the way the offense has been, I don't know if maybe you don't roll the dice here.
Yeah, Red hasn't been, I mean, the extra point went in, but it wasn't the best looking kick. And I think in this situation, with all the momentum going your way, trailing by 3 here in the 2nd quarter, I like the call. I like the aggressive call to go for it. We hear some noise here from this homecoming crowd.
And it looks like we're going to have an official timeout. They're going to take a chance to measure here. And we'll see here. It's going to be really close.
I mean, they marked it on the opposite side of the field because the play went out of bounds.
And now the stretch, and they're going to be about a yard short. I mean, it is pretty significant. You can see it at home when they stretched it out. It's going to be about a football, maybe a football and a half short right now of the marker.
And the hard thing is there's no sideline lines, I guess is what the official term is here at Salem Hills. They've only got them down the hashes. So kind of hard to mark some of these plays, especially when they go out of bounds.
So with 6:41 to play here in the first half, a 14-11 lead for Salem Hills. And Spanish Fork looks content to go for it here on 4th and about a yard. It's going to be Lomax, the deep back. They bring in Boyack as kind of a fullback, and Chapel in the gun.
This is the first time this season, I haven't seen all the games that I recall Spanish Fork reining in a fullback.
Ready to go. Here is Chapel. Lomax gets the call. It's going to be Chapel again. Makes the man miss at the 5. Looking for the end zone. Touchdown, Spanish Fork. Carson Chapel in for the touchdown from 4 yards out. From 8 yards out. And Spanish Fork has the lead.
And the second touchdown run by Chapel tonight. And that is huge as they'll take a 17-14 lead here with 6:35. And, you know, Chapel's throwing the ball a lot better this season, especially his touchdown to interception ratio and his percentage of completion rate. But also he's running the ball a lot better this season as well.
Chapel able to find the end zone, and now a big opportunity here for Spanish Fork. It's a 3-point lead right now, a chance here to make it a full, well, not really a full one possession, but an opportunity here to go up by make it a touchdown. That one a bad snap, and that one kind of doomed from the get-go as Salem Hills, once again, we see that low snap, and Salem Hills able to find a way to get some pressure. And it was number 27 who got there. That was Blake Hofines who got there, and now that brings up a kickoff in Salem Hills football.
Yeah, and I think the story of this game so far has honestly been 2 bad snaps by the punt team here for Salem Hills. Both went over the head of the punter, giving Spanish Fork great field position in this ball game.
And so now we'll see here definitely some momentum right now, changing and kind of going back and forth, as it will be now an opportunity to go back to Salem Hills. Going back deep, I believe, is Ty Callister waiting back at his 5-yard line, as Saili will again put a foot into it here for Spanish Fork with 6:35 to play before halftime.
Sayu's taken over the kicking duties here, and he's done a great job for what the coaching staff's asked him to do.
Saili kind of going again for that kind of short kind of corner. It's going to go off of, I believe that bounced off of the Skyhawks and out of bounds. And they'll be back at around the 13-yard line.
Yeah, Ty Callister ran up there to return it and just knocked it out of bounds. I'm not sure. I don't have a very good angle. I'm not sure if that was going to go out of bounds or if that was a heads-up play on knocking that thing out.
And so now with 6:35 to go, James Nelson back to work. Nelson's been, I want to say, rather efficient, really. Hasn't made a ton of mistakes outside of that ball that he threw up for the interception. But really, for the most part, he's had a nice ball game, has managed the game pretty well for Salem Hills.
And he's hit a lot of his receivers in stride on target as well.
Nelson will give it up the middle. Here's Vatoa outside, and this time Vatoa is going to be hit for a couple of yards loss, as the defensive line and linebackers for Spanish Fork able to get in there.
And Gavin Campbell made the tackle that time, but the 3 defensive linemen in this 3-4 defense for Spanish Fork have been very impressive, especially in the last quarter, in this quarter, second quarter.
It'll be second down and 12, 6:03 to go here in the second quarter. Don's leading this one 17-14. Nelson from shotgun, back to pass with some time, steps up, now tries to escape, and he'll be chased from behind, throws it downfield, looking for his receiver. It's batted away, though. Trey Lofton able to get there and knock that one away as Tom Wilson was running stride for stride, and now that's going to put Salem Hills at a 3rd and long. That will be a 3rd and 12 coming up, and just kind of what you wanted to do is you wanted to try to maybe find a way to get James Nelson to feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, he's definitely feeling uncomfortable, to your point. He's been hit a few times, and also he's had to run for his life. That play being another example of that.
Third down and 12, ball at the 11-yard line. Back to throw with some time. Nelson steps up, now rolls away, and he's going to try to put it down. He's going to get tripped up, well short of the marker. A nice job, I believe, Caleb Lundquist, number 14, getting in there on the tackle. And now Spanish Fork, they've had their third straight stop, and on those two stops, Chris, it's led to points.
It's led to bad snaps that have led to points, and holy cow, I'm really nervous for Josh Crippen, who has to try and catch this ball as the last two went over his head.
Crippen standing back at about his own 4-yard line. There's not much room behind him. This one, a good snap. Pressure came, and they ran into the punter. And now the question will be running into a roughing, as getting a little over-eager was number 5. That was Gavin Johnson. And we'll see here. It's going to be running into the kicker against Spanish Fork. That's only a 5-yard penalty, so it shouldn't be a first down. If it was the roughing kind, however, Chris, that would have given a 15-yard penalty. And I think they're going to probably tack it. I think they're going to ask Salem Hills whether they want to tack it on at the end or re-punt it. But with the way your punting game's been tonight, I would say tack it on. But Salem Hills, it looks like, is going to say, we want to punt it again.
I would not punt it again. Based on the snaps that I've seen in this game, I would have lived with maybe adding 5 yards to the end of the play or declining the penalty, because punting has been an adventure for Salem Hills tonight.
And so what you'll do is it will be 4th and 7 from about the 4th and 2 from the 21.
Yeah, snapping's been an adventure. I don't know.
And Salem Hills wants a timeout. They still have the penalty flag down back by the punter. They haven't picked it up, but we'll see. But Chris, right now, I mean, are there advantages to re-punting? Maybe you lose some field position, but at the high school game, you don't have a big difference between in the punting.
Yeah, I think Salem Hills has attempted to punt 3 times and only done it successfully once, not counting that penalty. So I would have tried, if they were able to, I would attack the 5 yards onto the back of that punt, because we've seen 2 snaps go over the punter's head. However, they elect to try and maybe play a little bit of the field position game. And the risk is you have another snap over your head if you're Salem Hills, or Spanish Fork gets a long return. And I think the reward of just changing the field position a little bit is not worth the risk.
5:03 to go before halftime here at Salem Hills High School. It's homecoming night here for the Skyhawks, so I'm sure there will be some festivities coming up at the half, as Way Stanton will go back deep right now to receive the punt. Stanton will go back to about his own 40-yard line or so, still kind of backpedaling. He'll stand about the 41-yard line. Crippen into punt. This one a good snap. They'll get the punt off. Stanton will kind of watch it, and boy, it might have worked out well if you're Salem Hills. That punt will go inside the 25 down to about the 23-yard line. And so you pin back Spanish Fork deeper, so they're a chance for Salem Hills. There they take a risk, and it works out.
Yeah, and they're going to make Spanish Fork have to drive the length of the field here to get some more points, as Spanish Fork's offense has struggled. They were able to punch in those last 2, but, you know, that might give Spanish Fork's offense a little confidence, scoring a couple touchdowns to take the ball down the field and get some points here before the half. The Spanish Fork leads 17-14 with 4:53 here to go here in the second quarter.
It'll be 1st and 10, ball on the 24-yard line. Carson Chappell from shotgun. He's got 4 wide receivers on the play. Chappell back to throw on 1st down, looking up. Now he's just going to try to put it down. He'll slide when he gets to about the 28-yard line. So it'll be a long pickup of about 4, bringing up 2nd and 6 from the 28-yard line. 4:40 to play here before the halftime whistle. The Dons, Spanish Fork, I believe, with 2 timeouts remaining. Salem Hills, I believe, with, both teams have 1. They have it on the scoreboard here at Salem Hills. Something you don't see at every facility, but here they have the timeouts on the score clock.
Yeah, remember Spanish Fork they have taken 2 timeouts.
Here's Chappell back to throw, looking over the middle, in and out of the hands, looking for number 88, Andre Ieri, and that one incomplete, brings up 3rd and 7.
Yeah, we haven't seen Spanish Fork be able to really sustain a drive thus far in this ball game, outside of I mean, really, they've scored when they've gotten pretty good field position.
And it's really been kind of difficult in the sense if they haven't been able to get yards on first down, it's made it kind of more difficult to try to get the first down.
Right, and but to their credit, they were down 14-3, and special teams and defense has really aided Spanish Fork in getting this lead.
Chappell rolling out. Nice block by Lomax, and now Chappell's going to be pulled down in the backfield. And he'll be sacked back at about the 21-yard line for a 2-Jacks pizza, 2-Jacks sack. A nice job there by Salem Hills. And again, we see the end. That was Alex Baker, Chris, really kind of forcing Chappell back up into the middle.
Yeah, Salem Hills did a great job, and that play just took too long to develop, and the time caught up with Spanish Fork there, and Chappell was sacked. But got to get that defense back out on the field for Spanish Fork.
Stanton, I think, thought about it there. The line drive kick. Mangum came up in case he was going to run, and the ball will roll, and it will roll all the way to about the 31-yard line. A nice job and a good punt there by Stanton, and now Salem Hills looks to try to find some way here, Chris, before the end of the first half to sustain a drive.
Yeah, and they got to go about 69 yards because of that 48-yard punt by Stanton, which really flipped the field. And they looked great in the first quarter, in the first part of the second quarter, especially with Nelson throwing the ball. But credit Spanish Fork's defense for turning up the heat, and they've really made Nelson look uncomfortable, as you mentioned earlier.
As we head to the halftime here at Salem Hills, we'll recap our first half. We'll have the halftime performances here. We'll try to check some scores from throughout the region. As Nelson takes a shot deep, looking for Griffin down the sideline, the last-second adjustment, and that one goes incomplete right here. And that's going to bring up a 2nd and 10 as they take a shot there deep.
Yeah, they were just hoping their height with Griffin at 6'7" would pay off because he was covered that time by Lundquist, who's 5'11". So that's 8 inches of difference that time, and we're unable to connect, but at least they'll stretch this defense out.
And so we'll bring up a 2nd down and 10 right here. Nelson from shotgun. And here's the give right up the middle to Lloyd. Lloyd cuts back inside, gets second level. Nice job there by Salem Hills, but then a whole host of Dons getting in there, trying to make the tackle, and that will bring up a 3rd and maybe about 3 coming up here for Salem Hills.
Yeah, and when Garrett Lloyd gets ahead of steam, he's hard to bring down, but Lofton met him solidly and got down low. Great open field tackle, and then was aided by everybody else in the secondary.
So 3rd and 3, 2:50 to go here before halftime. Skyhawks looking for a big first down. It's been a little while since the Skyhawks have gotten a first down, and Lloyd almost got tripped up in the backfield, but Boyack will get there, and the Dons will push him back as Spanish Fork finds a way to get another big stop, as it was Boyack and number 42 getting there. That is Jacob Moore, a sophomore linebacker, flying around the football, and now they'll get another stop here. As we have a stoppage of play, it looks like an official's timeout on the field. With 2:38, Salem Hills will have to punt again.
Yeah, great job by Spanish Fork's defense once again, putting Salem Hills in the position to punt. That's a 3 and out.
And here comes a fake. It's going to be up the middle with Lloyd, and he won't get it. Lloyd gets maybe a yard or 2, and so it kind of makes you wonder if on the one before with the snap over the head, if that might not have been looking to try the fake. There the Skyhawks do for sure try the fake. And instead, again, you're going to give great field position to Spanish Fork. The last 2 times the Dons got to stop after the punt, Chris, or taking advantage of a couple of bad snaps. The Dons found a way to punch it in.
Yeah, and they say special teams is 1/3 of the game. Most of the time you think of offense and defense, but Spanish Fork really has gotten this lead based on their punt coverage team tonight and stopping Salem Hills.
2 minutes and 23 seconds, 1 timeout for Carson Chappell in the offense. Chappell takes a shot deep down the sideline, in and out of the hands. There on the far sideline looking for Conway. Garrett Lloyd, in coverage there. Not a bad idea there to see if you can take a shot on first down.
Yeah, pretty good coverage, but that pass was about the only spot it could be for Conway to catch it on that place. And Chapel took a hit at the end as Salem Hills is doing a great job of getting pressure on and making Chapel feel uncomfortable as well.
So we'll bring up a 2nd down and 10. Chapel back to throw. Pressure comes, now trying to get away. Chapel's got a guy right there, and he'll, looks like, throw that one away. And that will bring up a 3rd down and 10.
And Chapel had to escape like Houdini on that play just to get the pass off, as Salem Hills is doing a great job of both defenses are doing a great job of getting some pressure here on the quarterback today.
3rd down and 10, 2 minutes and 10 seconds to play. The clock is stopped after the incompletion. Spanish Fork trying to find a way to extend their lead before the half, leading 17-14 here on the road at Salem Hills. Chapel back to throw with some time, looking deep, has a man that's picked off by Cole Griffin, the 6'7", or sorry, not Cole Griffin, that is number 21, that's Taylor Berg, who got there for the INT.
Ball was a little underthrown for Conway that time, and Berg comes up with the interception in his pass coverage that time. But Salem Hills has 2 minutes and 4 seconds, trailing by 3 here in the second quarter to try and either tie this thing up or take a lead into the half, and they get the ball to start the second half as well.
And so 1st and 10, ball on the 16-yard line for the Skyhawks. They would need a drive here before half. Nelson rolling out, takes a shot over the middle. That pass nearly, I thought, was going to be picked off. But Griffin, once again, triple coverage. A nice job there. 3 Dons in the vicinity, Chris. And one of those passes where you have to be kind of thinking, if you're James Nelson, boy, I'd like to kind of have that one back.
Have that one back, but, Griffin almost came up with that catch on that play.
And it'll bring up a 2nd down and 10, a minute 59 to go. Here's the give to Lloyd right up the middle, and Lloyd will get about 6 yards there, and does a nice job here with 21. Get into the 21, so a gain of about 5 with a minute 46 to go before halftime.
And our timeout situation for Salem Hills is they only have 1, so they can only stop the clock with 1 timeout, and 1st downs and incompletions gets out of bounds as well.
4 wide receivers. Nelson quickly looking, steps up. Now going to be pressured outside the pocket. Looking for a man, has Griffin. That's going to be good enough for a 1st down to about the 41-yard line. And Cole Griffin gives Nelson a nice big target there, Chris. And there it pays off for a 1st down.
Right. Minute 26 to go here. Only 59 yards short of the end zone. And Salem Hills is a no-huddle team anyway, so they're used to these types of quick drives.
Nelson looking over, getting it looks like the play call from the sideline as the clock ticks with a minute 11 here to play in the half. And now a whole bunch of movement up front. About 3 Skyhawks and 2 Dons moving. And that will be a procedure call here against Salem Hills, which will move them back with a minute 9 to play before the end of the 1st half.
And everybody jumped at the center that time, it felt like, for Salem Hills. And clock will start here with minute 6 to go and the clock rolling.
So now they're going to have to go quick here right now. Salem Hills trying to see even if they could get a look for Alex Baker for a field goal before the end of the half. Nelson out to the flat, in and out of the hands there, the intended receiver. And Spanish Fork picks up the football wisely there, Zach Buse, but incomplete, looking to try to get it to Billy Schwanke, and that'll bring up 3rd and 15.
3rd and 15, and Salem Hills was moving the ball at a huge clip early in this ball game, but man, the last 3 or 4 drives for Salem Hills have just stalled.
2nd and 15, looking over the middle, has Mangum. That's going to be out to about the 48-yard line for Zeke Mangum, but it doesn't stop the clock. And now with 41 seconds, Salem Hill's going to have to hurry and get set quickly.
3rd down and 3, less than 35 seconds to go here. Salem Hills needs a 1st down here.
Watch the matchup to the bottom of your screen. That's Griffin against Lundquist. Nelson steps up, and he's going to be pulled down and sacked in the backfield as Ty Pauapui got there from the end spot. And now that clock will continue to run. You have to wonder, do you maybe call it with call your final timeout? And somebody did, officials timeout with 11.3. Do you maybe let that clock run down if you're Salem Hills and take one shot at the end zone?
Yeah, I think Nelson's got the arm to do it. You have Griffin, who's 6'7", that's definitely going to be a big target down the field. And I don't know if Salem Hills was used a timeout that time, and they did their final timeout. But problem with that pass was James Nelson lost his shoe, and he's your quarterback. And I mean, I guess in hurry-up situations you can go one shoe, 1 foot, but with that soggy field, I imagine your sock and your foot's not going to. Your sock's going to soak up all that water, and your foot's not going to feel good the rest of the game.
It's probably something at the half. You might maybe try to put on a new sock or something. 11.3 on the clock, so you don't really have enough time here to maybe take one shot, because if it's an incomplete pass, Chris, you have to make sure 11 seconds comes off the clock.
Yeah, or Spanish Fork's going to get a shot here at the end zone. This has been kind of an interesting and schizophrenic game, if you will.
Salem Hills will take a shot looking for the marker. That one's in and out of the hands and overthrown. I don't see a penalty marker down. They were trying to get it to Tom Wilson, number 3. And now 6.3 seconds. Spanish Fork has a timeout. And so the Dons considerably, Chris, here have maybe they can run a quick play and then throw one up to the end zone.
Yeah, they got one timeout, or maybe you just take the shot to the end zone now and try and not run any time off. But, yeah, you can go to the sideline here or something a few yards downfield to set up a long attempt at the end zone.
Cole Griffin is the man standing back deep. He's probably just going to play center field. Jacob Rolfe late getting on the field, but he'll get on the field. Here's Chappell taking a shot deep down the sideline and overthrew, put it in the sideline, and that will end the first half here at Salem Hills High School. Spanish Fork leading at the end of the first half by a score of 17-14 over Salem Hills. We'll take a break here on Spanish Fork 17. When we come back, we'll have the halftime festivities here on homecoming night at Salem, and Spanish Fork trying to spoil the Skyhawk homecoming. You're watching high school football on Spanish Fork 17.
Hi, welcome to 2 Jack's Pizza.
For the best pizza you'll ever taste and our world-famous cheese sticks, come to 2 Jack's Pizza on Main Street in Spanish Fork, or call us for a quick delivery. Are you hungry yet?
Come to Dickerson Automotive for all your car repair and maintenance needs. Now is a great time to make sure your car is ready for these cold winter months. We take the time to get to know you and your car to give you peace of mind. Dickerson Automotive, located way north on Main in Spanish Fork.
MVP Sports is the #1 source for sporting goods in Spanish Fork. Football, soccer, all the fall sports, we've got you covered. Check out our new custom t-shirt builder. Design at home and we'll build it for you. MVP Sports, 72 North Main in Spanish Fork.
The best time to check your furnace is before it fails, and you can rely on Triple T to do the job right. Our technicians are trained every year so you can sleep better at night, knowing your furnace is safe to operate. Call Triple T at 798-7711 to schedule your tune-up today.
Back here at halftime here at Salem Hills High School. We're getting ready for the drill team here at Salem Hills High School. And I think we're going to have a combination of drill team and cheer and everybody here. So let's join the festivities here at Salem Hills High School. It's halftime here on high school football on Spanish Fork 17.
and gentlemen, that's your drill, cheer, dance with me, and your Salem Hill Skyhawk student body. Now, ladies and gentlemen, direct your attention to the northwest side of the track where we will announce your homecoming royalty. They will be coming right down in front of you here on the track. Now coming onto the track, your 2017 Salem Hill Skyhawk royalty. Sitting here in the first vehicle, as you know, one of our own Skyhawk football players, number 50, that's King Jackson O'Hara. Seated right beside him, the lovely Queen, Whitney Wild. They're closely followed by the first attendants, Daniel Chestnut and Cecily Yates. Following closely behind, we will announce our second attendant, James Nielsen, who's gone in for halftime, and second attendant, Michael Button. Once again, your 2017 football homecoming royalty. Now, ladies and gentlemen, will we pleased to hear from our Skyhawk very own marching band and the alumni. Ladies and gentlemen, as we're playing, we'd like to announce the raffle quill. Made for football and cheerleader t-shirts. Raffle is $1 per ticket to support the football team. Also, with your help, we'll be raffling off a help basket. It has 2 stadium seats, 2 Fitbits, 2 hats, and 1 blanket, 2 water bottles. The raffle will be held.
We'll go ahead here at this time. We'll take a commercial break. When we come back, we'll recap the first half and check our Triple T heating, cooling, and plumbing keys to the game. You're watching high school football on Spanish Fork 17.
Need a new car or truck? The Car Guys has the best selection of used vehicles at the best prices in Spanish Fork. The Car Guys know their automobiles to get you the best car for your needs and your budget. The Car Guys at 872 North Main in Spanish Fork.
Is this my car?
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments, there's one of these. That's why State Farm is there, with car insurance for when things go wrong, but also here with car loans to help life go right.
Call State Farm agent Lance Wilson today.
Nobody plans on getting in an accident, but if it does happen, you can rely on the expertise of Mike McKell to protect and fight for your rights. Specializing in personal injury law, Mike McKell is the attorney you need. Contact Mike at McKell, Christiansen, and Wise.
In just about 7 to 10 minutes or so, Ryan Pickens and Chris Hurst here. And Chris, we take a look at that first half. Kind of interesting to see Salem Hills look like they had all the momentum, but those couple of miscues, Chris, really kind of changed the ballgame.
Yeah, we saw a couple of miscues, especially on special teams for Salem Hills. They had a turnover as well, but the game changer were those 2 snaps on the punts that went over the head of the punter there, and Spanish Fork got great field position inside the 12 each time and was able to punch it in and get a 17-14 lead here at the half. And for Salem Hills, they came out in that first quarter and they were flinging the ball everywhere with Nelson. And his main target was Rolf, but Spanish Fork's done a great job in the second quarter stopping him and especially getting a lot of pressure and making him feel very, very uncomfortable here at Salem Hills.
That defense just seemed to kind of tighten up, and once they got it figured out, Chris, I tell you, they've really made James Nelson kind of almost looked confused in a sense back there as to what he's trying to do. Yeah, absolutely, and the coverage has been great downfield, so he's had nowhere to go with it. And at the same time, Salem Hills last time they played was 2 weeks ago against Maple Mountain. They struggled a little bit in the first half, and then they came out in the second half and just completely dominated. So Spanish Fork is still going to have to keep that pressure up because Salem Hills is going to play all 4 quarters here tonight. We saw the Skyhawks a couple of weeks ago, Chris, look kind of similar to the way they've looked tonight against Spanish Fork, but once they put it all together, boy, they looked almost unstoppable a couple weeks ago against Maple Mountain when they played a complete game. Yeah, they did. And if you're Spanish Fork, though, you've got to find some offense. You got to get your defense off the field. They have not really sustained a long drive. They have gotten points off of turnovers and great field position. So at this time, Spanish Fork's got to make some sort of adjustment on offense. And we got some fireworks going on here, but Spanish Fork's offense needs to provide some fireworks of their own, or I'm afraid they're going to need a little more offense, especially if Salem Hills doesn't have some of the miscues they did. It's interesting, the banner they're getting ready to run through, you probably can't see it in your picture at home. It's got a picture of a TV. It says Season 10, Episode 2. which is an interesting kind of right now as homecoming. The Skyhawks come back onto the field here. Let's recap our Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing keys to the game, Chris, and let's kind of do our halftime report card here. Some things Spanish Fork's doing very well, and some things that probably need to continue, and some stuff we'll find out in a second.
Right, they had to maintain a balanced attack. They really haven't been able to run the ball with any success, other than Chapel getting in the end zone a couple of times. They have done a good job in spots at throwing the ball. The other one was containing James Nelson. Nelson had to have had, I'm guessing, 150, 160 yards passing in that first quarter, but they really ratcheted up the pressure and made him feel uncomfortable, and then we'll find out if they play all 4 quarters, because I know this Salem Hills team's not going to quit until there's triple zeros on the clock and it's just the 4th quarter's over.
We'll take a look and check the scoreboard from around Region 10 tonight. A couple of interesting ball games. We've talked about the Orem Tigers, Chris, and we've said that they may be the team a lot of people said would win Region 10. Looking pretty good tonight. They're up 28-0 at Mountain View. That one, last I heard, it was with a minute to go in the second quarter. Uinta down the road at Payson. Well, the Utes are up 14-0 on Payson. That one in the second.
Yeah, and that's who we'll see next week is Payson, as they'll have to travel up a little across Salem, actually, just to get to Spanish Fork. And it's kind of nice to have it's really nice when you have Maple Mountain and Springville all in the same region, and you got this 5 schools that are really close together playing. But this go-around, this round robin, if you will, it's only Salem Hills, Spanish Fork, and Payson in Region 10.
Speaking of Maple Mountain and Springville, those 2 schools tonight playing at Springville. And the Red Devils, Chris, get a touchdown as time expires at the end of the first half. And Springville, Maple Mountain, last time I heard it was Red Devils leading Maple Mountain 17-14. That one in the third quarter. Sky Ridge team that we'll see in a couple of weeks take on Maple Mountain. They're winning at Provo 27-6. Wasatch and Timpanogos, the T-Wolves are 5-0. And they're trailing at the half at home to Wasatch 14-7. The Wasps, Chris, though, however, 2 defensive touchdowns in that first half.
Yeah, and Wasatch every season, they seem to just get a little bit better, so they might be putting things together this season as well.
Just kind of scanning some of the other scores here across the state. Nothing really too. How about this one, though, Chris? Harriman up 7-0 on East at the half.
Yeah, East has been a perennial power. They struggled against Beanham mightily, but in their out-of-state games, they've represented well this season.
Trying to see if there's anything else really, nothing else that really I think is that important throughout the state tonight, but just kind of a couple of exciting ones right here as we get set about 24 seconds away from kick. Second half here, Salem Hills will receive. The Skyhawks looking to try to get some kind of offense started here, as it will be Saili will put a foot into it, back deep to receive, and moving up a little bit is going to be Callister to the top corner, to the top of your screen. To the bottom, it's going to be Zeke Manga. And they're playing at about the 15-yard line. They, I think, are expecting another one of the short kind of kicks here from Leota Saili.
We've seen Saili kick it into the end zone tonight as well, so maybe he can kick it over their heads.
Ball's teed up. We are set and ready to go for the second half here from Salem Hills. And again, this other short kick going towards the short side of the field. And this one will go out of bounds, however, before the Dons can recover.
Yeah, not a bad idea there, but your guys got to get down there a little bit faster and recover that. Salem Hills needs to cover that ball, not rely on that sideline, in my opinion, because you're just asking for the ball to take a bad bounce the wrong direction, and you're once again putting Spanish Fork in great field position.
So it'll be 1st and 10 from the 35-yard line for the quarterback James Nelson, who had a really good first quarter, but cooled off really quick in the second quarter. Nelson from shotgun back to throw, looking towards his receiver on the corner. He's got his man, and that's complete to Tom Wilson. Wilson gets across the 40 to about the 41. Picks up a nice gain there of about 6, maybe 7.
And that's a great play call by Salem Hills. They haven't been able to keep Nelson alive for those long passes, so they're probably going to have to run some shorter routes here, see if you guys can break a tackle.
There's Zeke Mangum on the catch. He's going to have a first down to about the 46-yard line, maybe even the 47. And Salem Hills gets their first down of the second half. As with 11:26 to go here in the third quarter, just underway here from Salem Hills. And it's a 17-14 lead here at Salem Hills as
we get ready to go. Quick hitter that time by Salem Hills' passing game.
Ready to go right here. Going deep down the sideline, that one incomplete. No flag as they're again going for the 6'7" Cole Griffin. And they're going to be roughing the passer.
We saw Salem Hills give up some huge penalties there in the first quarter that led to a field goal. If you're the Dons, you cannot be aiding your opponent here.
At the 40-yard line, which is good enough for another Skyhawk.
Another huge penalty there by Spanish Fork. 1st and 10 from their Spanish Fork 40 here as Salem Hills gets on the plus side of the field with that penalty call.
Right here.
Bubble screen that time by James Nelson to number 3, Tom Wilson, and he's clear down to the 25 that time. Excuse me, clear down to the 15 as I lost my spot on the field.
It's brought down by the Don secondary. Ball is spotted at about the 3rd. Good enough for another Skyhawk.
So it'll be 1st and 10 here for Salem Hills. Ball on their 13-yard line. Ready to go here, and penalty flags fly. And this, it looks like, it's going to be offsides against Spanish Fork. And with 10:48 to go here in the third quarter, it's going to end up being about 1st and goal. Well, about first and about 5.
They can pick up a first down there, as they just need to get down to about the 2. But Spanish Fork's defense has really lost their momentum here on this drive that they had in the second quarter.
Lloyd inside the 5, trying to push towards the pylon, and he will be stopped a couple of yards there.
Number 36 stops him up. That's Ben Boyack with the Dons defense.
Ben Boyack able to get there on the tackle.
That's close to Salem Hills' first down, as it'll bring up 3rd and about a yard to go here. Ryan is, it's 2nd and 2.
It's going to be 2nd and 2. Here's Nelson on the rollout, looking to the end zone, in and out of the hands of Rolfe, and he is frustrated that he slaps his hand on the ground there, and that's going to bring up a 3rd down right here after they are able to find a way here to almost. They had 6 right there.
Yeah, and that would have been Rolfe's 2nd touchdown in the game. Instead, he can't come up with it, and we'll see what 3rd and 2 brings down. But yeah, if they can't punch it in here, that'll come back to haunt him.
3rd and 2, Nelson gives. Lloyd looking for the end zone. Touchdown, Salem Hills, as it is Lloyd in for the touchdown, and Salem Hills has regained the lead on the opening drive of the third quarter.
I don't know if you believe in deja vu here, but man, this seems like the exact same thing Salem Hills did to Maple Mountain a couple of weeks ago, as they trailed at the half, but they came out on fire in the third quarter. In less than 2 minutes, they score here to take the lead.
The extra point, Alex Baker on, and this one up and through. And with 10 minutes, oh no, incomplete.
Wide right.
I shouldn't say incomplete, he missed it.
He did not complete his task. I think by definition that means it's incomplete, and you are correct, Ryan.
Thank you,
but
Chris.
Nonetheless, the PAT is no good.
Lloyd able to get in to give the Skyhawks the lead. They regain it here, a 20-17 score. And now the pressure going back right here to Spanish Fork, and the Dons still looking maybe for that first really good. They haven't had a lot of lengthy drives tonight. They've taken advantage in the short field.
They've taken advantage of the short field, and then also on that field goal drive, they were aided by 30 yards of penalties. So, yeah, Spanish Fork really struggled. I imagine if we were keeping track of the total yards, that Salem Hills would have a huge advantage in that. And also it feels like Salem Hills offense has been on the field a lot more than the Dons.
Baker will put a foot into it at the 40, and they're going to kick it deep. It's going to go to about the 15-yard line. Running up on it is Ieri. He's trying to get outside. Look out. He's got some speed. Breaking into the secondary and brought down around the 45-yard line was number 22, Dallas Ieri, the junior running back.
And Spanish Fork will set up in pretty good field position. Just down by 3, a field goal here could tie it up. A touchdown would give them the lead, and we'll see if they can get anything going here on offense.
So a good opportunity here, good field position here with 10:03 to play in the third quarter. A 20-17 lead for the Skyhawks from Salem Hills. Ready to go here from shotgun. They send Noah Conway in motion. We haven't seen a lot of motion tonight. Back to throw. Here is Chappell. Tries to get it to Saili. That one incomplete, as in on the coverage was Blake Hoffines. And that one incomplete as tried to get it to Saili. It brings up 2nd and 10.
And I'm not sure if that was hit by Hoffines or if Saili bobbled that ball, but nonetheless, 2nd and 10. And Spanish Fork really hasn't been able to establish that balanced attack with the running game at all, and have really had to rely on Chappell's arm through the air, and it's just not getting it done thus far tonight.
2nd down and 10, ball on the 46-yard line. And Chappell will go back to throw. Tried to get it to Conway. That one thrown out in front. Almost intercepted again by Taylor Berg, but that will bring up 3rd down as looking for Clark down the middle on that slant route.
Yeah, Clark was open on that. It's just a little high. Chappell needs to get that down a little bit lower, but man, it feels like Salem Hills has all the momentum, and Spanish Fork needs to find a way to pick up this 1st down, or at least get close to go for it on 4th to maybe take back some of that momentum.
Alex Baker trying to get the crowd here at Salem Hills excited for this 3rd and 10. Chappell will have to put it in the air here. Back to throw, stepping up, now trying to get away, being chased from behind, and Baker will sack him back at the 39-yard line. He got the crowd fired up, or tried to, but there he will for sure, as the Two Jacks Pizza quarterback sack there for Alex Baker, and that brings up a 4th and 15, and now we'll drop him back to punt will be Stanton.
And that was a huge play that time by by Baker as he comes up with the sack, and 3 and out for Spanish Fork once again. That has been a theme for him.
Low snap, they get it off, and that one kicked away again from Mangum. This one will roll all the way back and roll dead at around the 20-yard line. So a good punt from Stanton, but now Salem Hills with the momentum, and once again a chance here with the football with a 3-point lead with 9:10 to play in the third quarter. We haven't seen either team really be able to establish the running game tonight, Chris. It's really has come down to the two quarterbacks.
Right. Lloyd has ripped off a couple of runs for Salem Hills, including that last touchdown, but you're right. Most of the work's been done through the air.
So it will be 1st down and 10, ball on the 20-yard line. Nelson ready to go from shotgun. Here's Lloyd, the deep back. He'll get the call on 1st down. Trying to get outside. Buse getting in there to slow him up. The ball comes loose, and I think the ball got out of bounds before anybody could fall on it, but the Dons trying to get there quickly, but that will be about a 5-yard pickup there for
Garrett Lloyd, and Lloyd is a hard runner. He keeps his legs churning at all times and has that forward lean. He's definitely got some good fundamentals when he runs the ball, and he's hard to bring down.
Lloyd came into tonight at about 370 rushing yards and 6 scores. Nelson throws the slant in and out of the hands of Griffin, and that will bring up 3rd down at about 4.
And this is, Salem Hills came out with some of those short passes, got a lot of mojo going on that last drive, but right now it's kind of stalled here, it seems like, a little bit for Salem Hills. See if they can pick up this 3rd and manageable, though. It's only 4 yards to go.
So 3rd and 4, Jacob Rolfe, the tight end. He's in that kind of mid spot there towards the bottom of your screen. Watch him on the slot over the middle. Nelson steps up, trying to run for it. He will have the 1st down to about the 36-yard line, and that will be a 1st down for Salem Hills. Skyhawks wanting to get set and go quick.
And James Nelson loses his shoe again. He needs to maybe just tape that thing on. get his ankle taped or something.
It'll be a 1st and 10, Salem Hills at the 36-yard line. The Skyhawks trying to drive here in the 3rd quarter. Here's the give. Lloyd cutting back up through the middle. He will again have another 5 yards or so out to about the 42-yard line, and that's going to be, well, it's going to be about 5, maybe 6.
And I think that run's really been set up by Salem Hills being able to run the ball well. And Ryan, at midfield, you can see number 71. That's for, I believe it was Doug Julian, who passed away during the offseason. And Spanish Fork also wearing a 71 emblem on their helmet tonight as well.
And now bring up 3rd down and 4. Right here. That's, I guess, the fun part about this area. You get great rivalries on the field, but when stuff like that happens, you see the other side where this is just athletics at the end of the day.
Yeah, there's things that are definitely bigger than football, and that's one of them. And it's great to see both communities surround that as we have a huge sack on that play. That was supposed to be a screen.
Yeah. Right there, a screen trying to be set up, and right there, 3 Dons able to get there as Jackson McGraw, number 38, the first Don to get there, and that will bring up 4th down, and that defense for Spanish Fork able to get a big stop.
Yeah, and they've been playing a lot better since the end of that 1st quarter. They did give up that 1 touchdown to start the half out here, but they definitely look a lot more energetic.
Here's the punt away. It's going to be Saili who's going to mishandle it. The ball's still loose. Spanish Fork will fall on it right there, as it appeared to be Caden Holt falling on it. But that was right there potentially disastrous for Spanish Fork. Now the Dons with an opportunity with the football.
Yeah, great hustle by Holt that time, as he's on that coverage team, and sometimes there's a tendency just to focus on blocking. But he saw the ball got bobbled, and he got down there in a hurry, and that saved Spanish Fork from giving Salem Hills the ball in great field position. Honestly, 14 of the 17 points came off of punts here. It's been punting's been somewhat of an adventure tonight.
1st down and 10 here for Spanish Fork, back at their own 25-yard line, as we welcome our score bug back here to the bottom of the screen. And that's going to be a couple of yards there for Mateen Lomax on 1st down. That's really the first time we've seen Spanish Fork try to run the football in a little while there. And Lomax will there pick up about 3 or so on the play.
Picks up 3 and brings up the 2nd and 7, which is more manageable than 1st and 10's been. So Spanish Fork will welcome a 3-yard gain on 1st down.
2nd and 7, 6:33 to play here in the 3rd quarter. 4 wide receivers back to throw. It's Chappell kind of on that little hitch pattern. And here's Saili fighting down the sideline. He's knocked out of bounds there by Cole Griffin. And that should be enough for a 1st down, and it will. They'll move the sticks here. And Spanish Fork able to find a way to kind of go back to the basics there, Chris, and get a 1st down.
And it seems like it'd been a long memory ago when Spanish Fork had picked up a 1st down. So maybe that'll give him some more momentum here. See if they can pick up another one, and if anything else, they're giving their defense a little bit of a longer rest this time.
1st down and 10. It will be Chappell from shotgun. Lomax the back. The play action. They're going to throw it. Chappell taking a shot, looking for Saili. That one batted down, as it was Lloyd who went one-on-one with Saili. And Lloyd kind of leaping into the air knocks that one down. And that brings up 2nd and 10.
2nd and 10 as they take a chance, Spanish Fork takes a chance. But it seems like to me Salem Hills is playing a lot more guys both ways. We'll have to keep an eye on that and see if that manifests itself here in the 4th quarter, as Salem Hills gets worn out a little bit. But Lloyd's playing corner and running back tonight.
Back to throw, Chappell. Here comes the screen pass. They set it up with Conway. Conway trying to get out in space, trying to get the corner and will. 1st down, Spanish Fork into Salem Hills territory. Knocked out of bounds at around the 40-yard line. That will be a 1st down. A big pickup right there to Noah Conway.
Yeah, and a great block that time by number 70, to Landon Davies for Spanish Fork, and great job by Conway waiting for that block and other blocks to develop. If he'd have just ran straight ahead, he would have just got a couple of yards, but he keyed off those blocks and was able to have that huge pickup that time.
Chappell from shotgun gives it right up the middle. Here's Lomax, and Lomax rips off one of his better runs up the middle tonight, and he picks up about 5. And you think about it, if that running game for Spanish Fork with Lomax doesn't even have to start getting you 4 or 5 yards a carry, Chris, but even if there could be some kind of a presence, 3 yards a carry, something, that's going to probably open up some more of that passing game.
Yeah, it definitely will, and it'll bring those corners up, and at some point you can go play action and maybe take a shot deep instead of just taking a shot deep.
Chappell goes up to the line of scrimmage. He wants to adjust the play. Lomax to his right. Man goes in motion. That's Noah Conway. Chappell, play action, taking a shot deep. One-on-one, has a man out there. Stanton goes up and gets it for the Spanish Fork touchdown.
Great comeback route by Stanton that time as he is able to complete clear to the far side of that field. Chappell was to Stanton, and that's a huge 35-yard touchdown pass, and they'll take a 3-point lead here against Salem Hills with the PAT pending.
From 35 yards out and put right on the money, put it in a spot where Stanton could go get it. That is Way Stanton's 6th touchdown of the season. And now that will bring on, I believe that is Saili, and that's Spencer Red on for the extra point. High snap, they get it down. The kick is good, and a big extra point there, Chris, to make it now where Salem Hills now needs a touchdown again. 24-20 lead for Spanish Fork.
And that's a huge drive by Spanish Fork because they hadn't really done a whole lot other than keying off bad snaps on punts, and they'll take the lead right back, and we have ourselves a ball game here at Salem Hills. It seems like any time these two teams get together, I know Salem Hills won last year, but it's always quite an exciting battle, a tight ball game.
That was a game last year. Spanish Fork had some opportunities to pull that one out, and that was one of those games, Chris, I took advantage of being able to watch on YouTube. YouTube.com/SpanishFork17. I was in Oregon that week, but, really, that was a game where Salem Hills came back at the end there, made a great defensive play, got some offense going, was able to pull it out.
Yeah, and that seemed to be a theme in a lot of those Spanish Fork games, and, I think this one could come down to the last play as well, and we'll have to see what unfolds, but it's great to see that Spanish Fork's offense is showing up here in the second half.
Saili will put a foot into it. This one again over towards the sideline. It's going to go back into the end zone. They'll bring it out though across the 5, and now back inside. They're going to say touchback.
Yeah, it looked like I was watching in the monitor because it's so far away, and it looked like the ball did bounce, but the officials got to be a little more aggressive and stop that play. He made the right call, but it took him forever to do so.
Salem Hills very grateful right now, because if not, it would have been 1st and 10 from inside the 10. Instead, it will be 1st and 10 from about the 20-yard line here with 5:13 to go here in the third quarter. Salem Hills having a shot to answer right here.
And we'll see if Salem Hills continues to try and complete some of these shorter passes, or if they go downfield, or because it seems like on that first drive when they just went back to the basics on some of the shorter passes, they were able to have a little bit more success.
Here's the give right up the middle. Viatoa trying to get outside, picks up a block. Lundquist tries to get him, and it's Trey Lofton who runs him out of bounds from his safety spot. And it's going to end up getting about 5, but there's a penalty marker down, so we'll see here if this one will stand right here as our officials will talk about our referee here with the call.
Personal foul
Against Spanish Fork, so it'll be a personal foul against the Dons, which will actually add yardage there. And I'm trying to see about where that came in, Chris, because I didn't see anything there, but the officials are right there on the field.
Yeah, and sometimes these personal fouls are called due to something that happened during the play, or maybe something that was said after, but I didn't see anything in particular that warranted that call.
1st down and 10 at the 40-yard line. The first real chilly night here of high school football, as temperatures here as we approach 9 o'clock getting a little on the chilly side. Here's Viatoa out of the backfield, gets a tackle, and it's going to be pulled down right there by, I believe, Ben Boyack was the last guy to get there. Sorry, that's Jackson McGraw, number 38.
Yeah, that was a touchdown-saving tackle by McGraw that time. And Viatoa did a great job of catching that pass as it was nearly blocked in the backfield, but great setup on that little swing passes. Is that right, 40 degrees?
40 degrees is what I have here in Salem right now. The always trusty weather app on the iPhone. And there's a couple of yards there for the Skyhawks.
Yeah, it feels like it's about 40 degrees in the booth there as well. I can't imagine what it feels like down on the field.
2nd down and 7, 4:18 to play here in the third quarter. Here's Viatoa again. He'll get a couple of yards to about the 38-yard line, and that will bring up Viatohi right there. Picks up maybe a yard or two, not that much, as Boyack in there on the tackle brings up a 3rd and about 6 coming up for Salem Hills. Under 4 minutes to play here in the third quarter.
And this is another critical 3rd down. That seems like they're all critical, but 3:51 to go here. If Salem Hills can get a score here, we got ourselves a real exciting ball game.
Nelson looking for Rolf down the sideline. Running is step for step is Buse, and that will bring up a 4th and 6. And we'll see here, we've seen Salem Hills take a lot of shots here on 3rd down, or on 4th down tonight. We'll see here, no indication right now that the offense is going to leave the field. So it looks like right now you'll probably take a shot. Now, keep an eye on that matchup at the bottom of your screen with Cole Griffin.
Yeah, I like this call. If the punt goes into the end zone, you're only going to gain 18 yards, so why not go for it here?
Nelson from shotgun, 4 wide, back to throw. Stepping up, being pressured from behind, hit as he throws, has a man out there, and it's in and out of the hands right there of Mangum. Nelson hit deep in the backfield, but that one going incomplete as Nelson again had a receiver out there. Had he had a little more time, Chris, that might have been 6.
Yeah, had a little bit more time, but they still almost got that pass completed as Nelson did all he could to stay alive. But great pressure once again by the Spanish Fort defense, and they'll get the ball, and if they can score here, they really can put this thing, make it a 2-score game and make it very hard for Salem Hills to come back.
This is one of those times, Chris, you want one of those drives we saw against Ridgeline back in week 1 where you just chew 8-9 minutes off the clock and get in the end zone.
Is that a 19-play drive or something like that?
I believe so. Right up the middle, and Ieri's going to be hit immediately there on the carry. That's Lomax, and Lomax will get hit right around the line of scrimmage, maybe lost half a yard.
Viatoe came up there like a madman. He shot off the line from his linebacker spot like a rocket, for lack of a better term, and filled that hole in a hurry. That play was doomed from the beginning.
2nd down and 10 right now as Carson Chappell looking over the Spanish Fork sideline. The Dons, if you're just joining us, wearing the white tops and black pants tonight. Salem Hills in the blue tops and white pants. Dons trying to ruin the Skyhawks homecoming game.
A fumble.
Loose football, and Salem Hills says they have it, and it's going to be Skyhawk football. The bad exchange there between Chappell and the running back Lomax, and Jacob Rolfe was right there to fall on it. And now a big momentum change. We've seen both teams tonight take advantage of turnovers or miscues.
Yeah, we'll see if Salem Hills can take advantage of a great heads-up play by Jacob Rolfe, jumping on that ball, trying not to pick it up. And, yeah, Salem Hills pretty much starts where their last drive ended.
1st down and 10, ball on the 36-yard line. The Skyhawks student section in front of us starting to kind of jump around here as they'll start their drive here in a really nice position here at the 36-yard line of Spanish Fork. 4 wide receivers for Salem Hills. Back to throw. Nelson steps up, looks over the middle, has Rolfe down the seam. He's to the 5, breaks a tackle, touchdown Salem Hills. Nelson to Rolfe from 36 yards out.
Wow, and Jacob Rolfe just by himself picking up that fumble, and then also breaking a couple tackles and getting some yards after the catch there and scoring the touchdown, really taking this Salem Hills team on his back and giving them the lead.
That is the third touchdown pass of the night for Nelson, the second to Jacob Rolfe. And a big response there. We said it. They've taken advantage of turnovers, and that one up and through, and a 27-24 lead. And Chris, we talked about it. We've talked about it week in and week out, how important those Mikkel Christiansen and Wise Gray defensive plays are, and how the offense has a chance to take advantage.
Yeah, and exactly, and Salem Hills did just that. They did that with that little run, and then they punch it in. So 2 plays after the turnover, and that gives them a lead as we're now entering a seesaw battle where both teams keep taking the lead. We'll see if Spanish Fork can answer now. Their offense has been a little more stagnant, but has shown some glimpses of hope, especially here a couple drives ago.
So Salem Hills regains a 3-point lead. Regains a 3-point lead, 27-24. As these two teams have just gone back and forth. Baker to put a foot into it. This one's going to go deep inside the 10-yard line. It's going to be Ieri from about the 8. And there's a block in the back. This one's going to come back as Ieri gets out to the 21-yard line. Believe for Spanish Fork it was number 30, Holden King, who just completely right in front of the official got the block in the back. And that's going to move it back here probably to about the 11.
Distance.
Probably somewhere around the 11-ish or so.
It's a spot foul, so if they're marking this off of the 18, they'll take it half a distance to the line, or to the end zone, and that'll bring it to about the 9. We'll have to see where they mark it, though.
They're going to mark it right around, that looks like the 8-yard line. And so now a big drive right now needed here if you are a Spanish Fork. 27-24 right now. Lead for Salem Hills. Ready to go to work, 4 wide receivers. Chappell throws the screen pass, tries to get it out to Conway. Conway breaks the tackle, gets across the 10 to the 15. Down the sideline, and he'll be pushed out of bounds at around the 45-yard line. Noah Conway breaks one tackle and takes it down the sideline. A nice job there. Noah Conway with a Lance Wilson State Farm assist right there, assisting that offense, Chris, with now a lot better field position to work with.
Great effort by Conway as Griffin came up from his safety spot, and Griffin's 6'7", went a little high, which I guess it's kind of natural for somebody that size to go high. But great job by Conway, churning those legs, breaking that tackle, getting up the sideline, and really changing the field position, all on his second effort.
First down and 10, ball on the 45-yard line. Mateen Lomax goes in motion. Here's Conway now going across your screen. Chappell looking, throws the slant route, has Stanton who breaks one. He's going to now be in a foot race himself. He's inside to about the 20-yard line, pulled down. I believe it was Merrill Morley, number 6 for Salem Hills, and it was really their Stanton against Morley.
And Spanish Fork got the coverage they wanted that time as Stanton was in one-on-one coverage, and he runs that slant, and the corner has to play deep that time on that side, and that's Garrett Lloyd. And Chappell put it right where they needed to, and that's misdirection, sending the play to the right and going back to the left. Really worked out that time.
2 minutes to go here in the third quarter, as it's going to be Chappell on the option, trying to get the corner. He's going to take a little bit of a hit as he gets out of bounds right around the 11-yard line. A nice pickup of 7. But Carson Chappell's really shown the ability tonight to be more of a dual threat.
Yeah, he's been able to bring that ball down and get 5 or 6 hard yards when Spanish Forks needed it, especially in the red zone, as he's picked up a couple of touchdowns on the ground. He had one for 4 and one for 8.
So it's going to be 2nd and 3 here, a minute 51 to play here in the third quarter. Don's driving here. Ready to go, 4 wide receivers. I would watch maybe Clark on maybe a corner route here. They're going to go to the back of the end zone looking for Stanton again, and he comes
Caught
down
it.
with it. Touchdown, Spanish Fork.
And that is Stanton. Is that his second touchdown as well tonight? And Spanish Fork now seesaws back into the lead, 30-27. And this third quarter has been off the hook. I believe that's what the kids say, Ryan.
Less than a minute, if my math calculation is right there, that drive for Spanish Fork, as that one gets a Dickerson Automotive drive of the game. A great one that started back at their own 8-yard line. About 3 plays, and they're in.
And we've got ourselves a shootout all of a sudden. It's like Lehigh's playing again.
Stanton able to get in his second score, his 7th of the season for Spanish Fork. Spencer Red on for the extra point. A low line drive kick, but it's through. And with 1:46 to go in the third quarter, Spanish Fork has come back out on top, 31-27.
And that is our 4th touchdown between both teams here in the third quarter. It's we've definitely got our money's worth out of the offenses in this quarter.
We'll take a moment here to thank our sponsors on Spanish Fork 17 for making this broadcast possible tonight. We want to thank the Car Guys, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, MVP Sports, Dickerson Automotive, Mikkel Christiansen and Wise, Attorneys at Law, Two Jacks Pizza, and Lance Wilson State Farm Insurance for their help in making each and every game possible here this season. Next week, we're back in Spanish Fork. We'll be at Spanish Fork High School for the Payson Lions and the Spanish Fork Dons. Should be a fun one.
Yeah, it should be. And Payson's last score we saw was struggling against Uinta, so they might be going to that game 1-1. And depending on this outcome, Spanish Fork might be 2-0 or 1-1 themselves. But all region games are very critical to playoff seeding and making the playoffs.
Saili puts this one, a line drive kick that goes into the end zone, and Salem Hills will bring it out to the 20-yard line. The Skyhawks, Chris, are in an interesting position because if they lose tonight and then they lose next week, they could be in an 0-2 hole.
Yeah, they could be in an 0-2 hole, and they're a very good football team, especially compared to the other teams in this region. So, but you don't want to fall in that 0-2 hole, and you know, a lot of the predictions is Orem's going to win this region, so that's going to be another critical game for Salem Hills next week, but they definitely want to get the win to head in to that game with a little more momentum.
Mangum in motion across your screen. Nelson will try to run an option. They'll try the inside screen there to Rolf, and that will work for about 5 or 6. Some more confetti goes from the student section. A nice job there on the little shovel pass, but there's going to be a personal foul against Spanish Fork for roughing the passer.
We've seen quite a few personal fouls on both sides tonight as a little late hit. I didn't see who hit it because I was intrigued by that shuffle passes. I don't remember seeing a whole lot of shuffle passes until I remember Urban Meyer came to the University of Utah, and they ran that thing to perfection when he was here.
That'll be a Salem Hills first down with 1:39 to go here in the third quarter. And Salem Hills spreading the field here with James Nelson at quarterback. Here's Lloyd right up the middle, making a couple men miss. Trying to get outside, gets a block, and gets down the sideline, cuts in, spins past another defender inside the 40 to the 35. And that's going to be a first down for Salem Hills as Garrett Lloyd using the speed to get to the corner.
Yeah, he used his speed, and he also showed that he had moves like Jaggers. He was all over the field that time. Incredible run and great job of staying in bounds and spinning around to get some additional yards as well.
1:16 to go in the third quarter. This third quarter not over right now as 3 wide receivers come into the ball game right now for Salem Hills. Here's Lloyd back again, this time going nowhere. Being pushed back, he'll lose about a yard on that play. They tried to go right back up the middle to Lloyd.
Yeah, they did, and Spanish Fork did a lot better job, and you know, they've got to do a good job of containing the edge, especially how they like to run Lloyd to the outside at times.
Second down and 11 now. An interesting formation here. You get 2 linemen to the outside. two receivers, and then you get Lloyd, the deep back. Here's the quick screen pass, trying to get it outside to Lloyd, and Lloyd will be brought down in the backfield as Ben Boyack immediately runs down there, kind of scripting that, so to speak, when you split out two linemen like that.
Yeah, absolutely. You knew the play was going there. They were going to fake the play there, but Ben Boyack runs that play down, and he should have wagged his finger saying, "Not in my house." That was great anticipation of what was going on that time by Boyack.
And that will be the final play here of the third quarter as they will let that clock run. It looks like Salem Hills called a timeout, and they let about 10 seconds run off that clock from when we heard the... And they're going to let it run.
I think the refs forgot to wind the clock.
And that will end the quarter here at Salem Hills. At the end of 3, Spanish Fork 31, Salem Hills 27. We're set for a fun rivalry finish. Stay tuned on Spanish Fork 17, fourth quarter coming up next.
Need a new car or truck? The Car Guys has the best selection of used vehicles at the best prices in Spanish Fork. The Car Guys know their automobiles to get you the best car for your needs and your budget. The Car Guys at 872 North Main in Spanish Fork.
Is this my car?
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments, there's one of these. That's why State Farm is there, with car insurance for when things go wrong, but also here with car loans to help life go right.
Call State Farm agent Lance Wilson today.
Nobody plans on getting in an accident, but if it does happen, you can rely on the expertise of Mike McKell to protect and fight for your rights. Specializing in personal injury law, Mike McKell is the attorney you need. Contact Mike at McKell, Christiansen, and Wise.
Well, start of the fourth quarter here on Spanish Fork 17, and right now Salem Hills trying to drive here on a 2nd and about 16. Nelson being chased, throws downfield. That pass almost intercepted. Caleb Lundquist had it in his hands, but goes incomplete, and that brings up a 4th down. That's going to be 4th and 16.
4th and 16, and earlier in this ball game, it's like Nelson could not miss, and now it seems like his accuracy's diminished a little bit. I guess they call that the law of averages, but and I wonder if some of that has to do with the moisture that was on the field before the game and the fact that it's 40 degrees and it's hard to rip it and grip it when it's this cold.
And when it's 40 degrees, your hands get cold quicker, and it also kind of makes it, Chris, where as a receiver, if that ball's thrown too hard, it's like trying to catch a rock.
It is.
High snap, they'll get it down. There's a flag down, however, and this one may be against Spanish Fork. The punt will go inside the 5 and will roll into the end zone for a touchback. But we'll see. Salem Hills may get a second shot at this.
I don't think it's an illegal shift by Salem Hills.
Illegal motion called against the kicking team.
I was looking for I was watching the punter because we saw running into the punter earlier in this ball game, and I'm like, I didn't see that, so I was unsure of what that call was.
So it'll be Stanton will go back again. Spanish Fork looks like they will elect to have Salem Hills re-kick it.
And why not, the way that Salem Hills has had a couple of snaps go over the punter's head in this ball game.
It's going to be Stanton back deep. And Crippen for Salem Hills at about the 42. Gets it off. It's a pretty good punt. Saili will return it here across the 10. Being pulled down by his jersey, still up. Lowers his head into Crippen. A nice tackle there by the punter, Josh Crippen. But nice field position here for Spanish Fork. They have the lead, and they have the ball at about the 31-yard line.
Wow, and Crippen got down to that side of the field in a hurry on that punt, as he had to saved it from being even a larger gain. And we'll see if Spanish Fork's offense can keep up its high octane pace it had there towards the end of the third quarter.
31-27 lead for Spanish Fork, 11:35 to go here in the fourth quarter. Just underway, Ryan Pickens and Chris Hurst here as Spanish Fork tries to move to 2-0 in Region 10. Here's the give right up the middle into the secondaries. Lomax, he's spent still on his feet. He's across the 40 to about the 35. A big gain there. And We have a penalty marker that came in on the far side of the field here, Chris.
And it was a block in the back, I believe. And so it didn't really affect the play much.
And we'll see your sideline warning.
Oh, sideline warning.
Against Salem Hills, which makes more sense because it was the official, the linesman there, I believe, right on the sideline there.
Well, I saw a block in the back there, and that one went uncalled, but a sideline warning, your first one, no big deal. Your second one, they start to take yards away from you.
And we said this back in week 1 that Mateen Lomax, with the way he runs, how physical he is, there could be times this year, fourth quarter, when teams are tired, he may just kind of open the ball game up, and I wonder if we might see that here.
Right.
Lomax again after the big gain. This time he'll run again ahead for a physical about 3.
And Salem Hills plays a lot of their guys both ways, and they probably have to do it due to the number of players in their program. And on the other side, Spanish Fork, they play a lot of guys just one way in a lot of cases. So, like their offensive line, none of these guys play on the defensive line for the most part, vice versa. Salem Hills not the case, so I wonder if Salem Hills is just getting worn out a little bit.
2nd and 8, ball on the 33-yard line here for Spanish Fork. Don's driving into Salem Hills territory. Chappell slings one quickly, gets it into Clark, and Hunter Clark is going to be right near the chains. He'll be about a yard shy.
Yeah, but I mean, the difference between how the offense is running now and just about a quarter ago is night and day. It's good to see Spanish Fork moving the ball here, as they can, take advantage of some of the miscues of Salem Hills early on to get the lead, but now they can add to it by actually having some offensive production.
It'll be 3rd down and 1 right here. 3 wide receivers. And here's Chappell on the option. He's going to keep it to the 20, and he just does the smart thing there, Chris, and gets out of bounds.
Yeah, you don't want to take any unnecessary hits, so he gets as many yards as he can, and then Chappell finds his way to the sideline.
A touchdown here if you're Spanish Fork is key because it makes it a 2-score ball game.
Yeah.
A field goal isn't bad, but it keeps it at a 1-score game.
It does, and you definitely want to find your way to the end zone here. And Spanish Forks really just dominated the last part of this game, and we'll see if Salem Hills defense can tighten up the screws here in the red zone.
It'll be 1st and 10 from the 17-yard line. 4 wide receivers, Chappell from shotgun. They send Noah Conway in motion. Here's Carson Chappell to throw. Tries to hit him on the slant route. I believe that was intended for Saili, and here comes a penalty marker in.
Is that targeting, I wonder? Looks like he might have went for his head, and Saili's a little bit wobbly. Hopefully he's all right.
Some conversations here taking place at the high school level, and they're going to wave the flag off. Targeting at the high school level, you don't see it called the same as you see in the college level. There's typically no ejection, and there's no real big it's a 15-yard penalty, and it's something to take serious, but there's really no deep call right now.
And the ejection happens at the college level only after a review, and I think it'd be too difficult to actually have the officials or somebody up in a booth actually review the call, and that's probably why they don't eject somebody from the game.
2nd and 10, ball on the 17-yard line. The give right up the middle. Lomax looking for the end zone. He's at the 5, down to about the 2.5-yard line. And it's 1st and goal, Spanish Fork, and Mateen Lomax starting to impose his will on the Skyhawk defense.
Yeah, he's definitely running rampant through the Salem Hills line now as he's starting to pick up big chunks of yards. I think Salem Hills is getting a little worn out, and that clock's continuing to move, and it looks like Spanish Force should be able to punch it in here as they have it 1st and goal from
Chappell.
2-ish.
Chappell from shotgun. Here's the give. Lomax looking for the end zone. Spins, cuts up in the middle, and he's in. Touchdown, Spanish Fork. Mateen Lomax in from about 2.5 yards out, and it will make it a 10-point lead for Spanish Fork.
Yeah, and with the PAT pending here, and Spanish Fork a little bit scary early on here, but they've definitely come back from falling down 14-3 now leading by 10 here with 9:16 to go in the fourth quarter. And their offense has made some great adjustments here in the second half as they just looked anemic at best early on.
Here's the extra point, a low kick, but it's going to go through. And with 9:16 to go here in the fourth quarter, it's a 38-27 lead right now for Spanish Fork. And the Dons looking to be pretty good right now. Let's take a moment to thank our sponsors here on Spanish Fork 17.
Here we got the Car Guys, Dickerson Automotive, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Mikkel Christiansen, Wise Attorneys at Law, Lance Wilson, State Farm Insurance, MVP Sports, and 2 Jack's Pizza. We'd like to thank these sponsors for making this broadcast possible as we're able to bring you some amazing high school action every week here on Channel 17.
And so right now, definitely, if you're Salem Hills, Chris, with 9:16 to go in the fourth quarter, you're running out of time, especially if you can't get a stop. You really need some offense quick.
You need some offense quick. You got to score twice. They've got that capability, though. They go no huddle. Nelson was really accurate early on in this ball game. They just need to find some of that mojo they had going earlier and see if they can't get it going again.
That kick will go to about the 1 for Callister. Across the 10, across the 20, and he'll get to about the 23-yard line. Now some extracurricular kind of pushing and shoving between a couple of players on the field here. We haven't really seen a lot of the frustration kind of personal foul penalties that we would see. We've seen some, but nothing really that's gotten out of hand.
Yeah, it's been a pretty mild-mannered, friendly competition thus far, and hopefully it continues to be that way. But sometimes in these rivalry games, if one team falls behind the other, we see a little more of that extracurricular activity as the game's not in doubt anymore.
4 wide receivers. Here's a give right up the middle to Lloyd, and Lloyd will get to right around the 27-yard line. He'll pick up about 4 there on first down.
And Lloyd's been running tough, and with 8:54 to go here in Sam Hills trailing by 2 scores, they're going to probably have to do most of their damage through the air.
Skyhawks going hurry up. Here's the drop off there to Mangum, and Mangum is short of the marker. He's down to the 31-yard line, and the tough part there is you're in bounds. That clock will continue to run. Salem Hills going quickly with 8:31 to play here in the fourth quarter. A 38-27 lead for Spanish Fork.
And great sure tackle that time by Lundquist, as he's done a great job of tackling this season.
Nelson steps up, looking to run, cuts it back up. He's going to get to about the 40-yard line. He'll have a first down. Takes a punishing hit there at the end. I don't know if Nelson took the harder of the hit or the Spanish Fork defender, but that's going to be a first down. Riley Hess meeting Nelson kind of square on there. That's a first down.
Yeah, and Riley Hess out of position, and we got a fumble.
Loose football, but Salem Hills able to get on it there. I wasn't sure if Spanish Fork might have had an extra man on the field there. Riley Hess was trying to come off the field.
Well, the guy that replaced him is that 28.
Oh, yeah,
Kimball Peterman didn't run onto the field until later.
Second down and 10, ball on the 40-yard line. Nelson back to throw with some time, looking over the middle. That one's tipped in and out of the hands, looking for Rolf over the middle. That one's incomplete. Bring up a 3rd and 10.
3rd and 10, and we'll see Spanish Fork can dial up some pressure here. It's pretty much a passing situation. If you're on that defensive line, you can pin your ears and get after the quarterback. Looks like Spanish Fork's missing a defensive lineman as well.
Spanish Fork late getting a couple of men on the field. Nelson rolling out, looking down the field into double coverage. It's picked off. Believe that is Trey Lofton. Down the sideline, Lofton will be pushed out of bounds at the 40, and now Spanish Fork with the ball in Salem Hills territory and a chance to try to put this one away.
Yeah, and Lofton made that great pick, had a nice escort up the sideline to give Spanish Fork great field position. Once again, they're up by 11. 7:29 to go here. If they can take one of those drives that takes a few minutes off the clock and punch it in, this thing's all but over.
Mikkel Christiansen and Wise, attorneys at law. Great defensive play there for Trey Lofton. a great defense makes for a great offense, and now the offense will come onto the field here with an opportunity to chew some clock, but also a back-breaking touchdown here would be in order for Spanish Fork. Here's Lomax straight up the middle, and he'll get a couple down to about the 38-yard line. And really, the Salem Hills offense, we've had a lot of quick drives tonight. Both sides have scored quickly, and that's made those defenses have to be on the field a ton.
Yeah, there's been a lot of plays around tonight, that's for sure. Now, if you're Spanish Fork, they like to huddle up a little more, and we see them doing that now. But you can take your time getting up to the line. There's no hurry. The clock's on your side, but both teams have 3 timeouts. If you're Salem Hills, you got to try and get another one of those 3 and outs here.
2nd down and 9, ball on the 39-yard line. They will send Conway in motion across your screen. Here's the keeper with the quarterback, Chappell. He's inside the 35 to about the 34-yard line. Another pickup of about 5, and it will be a 3rd and 4 or so.
3rd and 4, and this is 4-down territory, most likely, so Spanish Fork can really try and run and get this 1st down here on 3rd down.
Clock about 6:22 to play here in the 4th quarter. Both teams with all 3 timeouts. Those timeouts could come in handy right now, especially for Salem Hills.
Yeah, absolutely.
4 wide receivers, Chappell from the gun. Back to pass with some time. Pressure comes. He gets rid of it quick, and that one is going to go incomplete. No flag on the play, and that one there was intended, I believe, Noah Conway, and that will bring up 4th down and about 5. And you have to think here, are you going for it if you're Spanish Fork? You're kind of in no man's land.
You're in no man's land. I don't know what to do, but on that last play, it looked like it was pass interference. However, maybe the official didn't call it because the ball was uncatchable.
Wasn't the best ball we've seen Carson Chappell throw tonight, but now it will be Stanton into punt. He's standing at the Salem Hills 45. Zeke Manga back at the 10-yard line. He's to the very top of your screen. Stanton will throw it. He's got a man, 1st down. That's complete to Garrett Johnson, who's got it down to about the 16-yard line. And so it's Stanton there to Johnson for a 1st down.
Great play call. Stanton's going to roll out. And they send their gunner down there, and Salem Hills doesn't guard him at all, and that play was wide open. I wonder if the coaches saw something earlier in the ball game that cued him off to that.
It'll be 1st and 10 now inside the 20, and a chance to tick another. You think of it right now, you're in a position, Chris, where Spanish Fork can take another 1.5 to 2 minutes off that clock.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lomax up ahead inside the 5. And it'll be another 1st down here. 1st and goal with 5:40 to go.
Yeah, so now Spanish Fork 1st and goal from Salem Hills 5, up by 11. Things are looking very positive for Spanish Fork. They had the ESPN probability win. It's probably up around 90% right now.
2 receivers to the bottom of your screen right here. 2 backs in the backfield, 1 in for a blocker as Lomax takes it in over the left side. He won't get in. He'll get down to about the 1, and he'll bring up a 2nd and goal from the 1, and now the clock will tick under 5. And now the hard part is, Chris, if you give up a touchdown if you're Salem Hills, the clock's not your friend at that point.
It's not your friend, and if you give up a touchdown, you're going to be down 3 scores, and you're going to need to score fast and then either get an onside kick or stop them in a hurry using your timeouts, and you got to do that a couple of times.
It'll be 2nd and goal from the 1. Chappell and Lomax, Boyack in there, and kind of the blocking back. Here's the give. Lomax trying to get in, and no signal yet.
Looks like he's just short.
Salem Hills trying to say the ball came loose. Skyhawks are pointing football, and it's going to be Salem Hills football. It's going to be a touchback. Lomax turns the ball over inside the 2. And now Salem Hills with some new life with 4:29 to play here in the 4th quarter.
So they'll get the ball at the 20 here, and that is huge.
Ball will be brought out to the 20-yard line.
And with 4:29, it's still only a 2-score game. You did run a lot of the clock off, so the clock's still not the friend right now to Salem Hills, but not the kind of game-ending drive you wanted.
Well, Salem Hills has plenty of time, and they have all 3 timeouts to even kick it if they're able to score here in the next minute or two.
Nelson rolling out, looking downfield, has his man. That one incomplete. Trying to get it off in the little curl route. Looking for Zeke Mangum, number 1. Number 2, sorry.
It appears Salem Hills just doesn't have enough gas in the tank right now to make a run at this ball game. It looks like they're almost running on empty.
2nd down and 10 right now here for Salem Hills. 4:26 to go here in the 4th quarter. 4 wide receivers. Nelson back to throw, now being pressured by Gavin Campbell. Finds Mangum here, breaks 1. He's going to get enough for the first down to about the 31-yard line, and that's going to be a first down.
1st and 10, big pickup, and Salem Hills will hurry and line up and go again.
1st and 10, Salem Hills. Ball on the 31-yard line, and right now the Skyhawks trying to put a drive together. Nelson rolling out now, trying to direct some traffic, looking for Tom Wilson over the middle. He hangs on and makes the catch at about the 44-yard line.
Yeah, great catch by Nelson in traffic across the middle, but looks like we've got a roughing the passer penalty to be added to it as well. These officials this season have been a lot faster to get things signaled. Usually in the past we've had plenty of time to analyze what the penalty would be, but they're going fast as well.
Penalty be marked off.
And so right there, they'll mark that one off here with 4:07 to play. And now Salem Hills now getting deeper into Spanish Fork territory. That one has to kind of bug right now head coach Preston Parrish.
Yeah, definitely. You don't want to aid your opponent with silly things like late hits.
Clock will start to run here in the 4th quarter, and now timeout. I believe Spanish Fork, Preston Parrish wants to talk about it here.
Yeah, and maybe he wants to give his defense a little rest as they're on their heels right now and dial up some possible pressure, because Salem Hills is definitely in the mode of just passing right now.
So right now, a big opportunity right now. We'll take a quick moment here to thank our sponsors for making this broadcast possible tonight. We want to remind you, you can follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram to keep up with our shows, live broadcasts, and our SF17 staff. Just look for Spanish Fork 17. We also want to thank the Car Guys, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, MVP Sports, 2 Jacks Pizza, Mikkel Christiansen Wise, Attorneys at Law, Dickerson Automotive, and Lance Wilson State Farm Insurance for making these broadcasts each and every Friday night possible. Right now, the Skyhawks are driving here in the 4th quarter, looking to try to get something back. You don't necessarily need the touchdown right now. You could if you can get a good look at a field goal potentially. Nelson back to throw with some time, stepping up, now being pressured, and he'll be dropped for a sack. A 2 Jacks Pizza quarterback sack back there at around the 48-yard line. A nice job there. It was Gavin Campbell getting there, his 2nd sack of the ball game.
Yeah, but there was a great job by multiple linemen getting pressure there that time.
Back to throw. Nelson now rolling out. Some more pressure comes. Finds a man over the middle. That's, I believe, Alex Baker, number 22. That's Hancock, number 26. A nice pickup there, and that's going to be pretty close to a first down. It's going to be 3rd and about 2 coming up. 3:14 to go. Salem Hills having to go quick. Ready to go. Here's the give up the middle, and Lloyd is going to be hit short of the marker. There's a penalty marker down, though, coming in.
It's probably offsides or legal procedure of some sort, because it came from that line judge. Substitution.
Illegal substitution goes against the Dogs.
And so right there, that will give Salem Hills a first down. with just a little over 3 minutes to go. A couple of finals to pass along to you from Region 10. Orem shuts out Mountain View 49-0, and Payson defeats Uinta 21-14. So the Lions scored 21 unanswered there against the Utes.
They'll be 2-0 heading into that game next week that we'll have for you here on SF17. Gavin Campbell just limped off the field, and he's their big pressure guy from the end for Spanish Fork. See if Salem Hills can take advantage of that.
Here's Lloyd right there on the option, trying to get the corner. Nice job there by number 18. That Palapoi, excuse me. Right there, doing a nice job there, getting there to make the stop. In fact, right there, a nice job there of keeping him in bounds with 2:35 to go. Salem Hills looks like they're trying to save those timeouts. Back to throw. Nelson looking down the field, steps up, gets away from one, will now kind of throw it up into the end zone. It's going to be almost caught inside the 5. A great attempt there by number 9. That is Vili Swanky there. Broken up. Nice job by Spanish Fork, and that will make it 3rd and 10 here for Salem Hills.
That was a great job by Nelson, who was under extreme duress to get away, and even just have an attempt at getting that into the end zone was a great second and third effort that time by Salem Hills quarterback, but Spanish Fork's been able to bring a lot of pressure.
Back to throw. Nelson steps up, pressured from behind. He'll throw this one up one-on-one in the end zone, and that is, I'm surprised there was no flag there. Kind of Hancock and I believe Trey Lofton battling there.
Yeah, and both teams, both guys jockeying for position that time. Probably a good no call, because about the only other thing you could call is dual pass interference.
Offsetting pass.
Yeah, they usually don't do that.
It'll be 4th down and 10, and I think here Salem Hills is going to try to get the field goal right now. They're going to bring in Alex Baker. It's going to be about a 44-yard attempt, though, Chris, from the left hash. This is kind of do or die time if you're Salem Hills.
They got 3 timeouts, so if they make this, they can kick it deep.
And there's a penalty marker, and now the question is, who's it against? Offsides against Spanish Fork, and so that will make it now. That will move it up by about 5 yards, so instead of about a 44, you're probably looking somewhere around a 39-yard kick.
And that makes it a lot more manageable here for Baker.
5-yard penalty. Ball will be spotted at about the 23-yard line. Brings up 4th and 5 for the Skyhawks.
Ready to go right now as Baker now will look to kick it from about 39 out. Left hash once again. Snap down. The kick is up, and it looks good. It is good. And so with 2:15 to go, Alex Baker puts the 39-yard field goal up, and we have a one-score game.
And you see a lot of coaches just try and punch it in the end zone, and sometimes they forget, hey, we also need a field goal. Why not go for it here on the 4th down, or go for the field goal on 4th down instead of going for it? And I like the call that time by the Salem Hills coaching staff. And we'll see if they're going to go onside kick or if they're going to kick it deep and make Spanish Fork get a 1st down and utilize those timeouts they have left in their pocket.
I would almost say, with having all 3 timeouts, Chris, I would almost say kick it deep.
I'd kick it deep because, Spanish Fork's just going to run it up the middle and see if your guys can stop them. The possibility of getting these onside kicks seems to be very small. It's very, the success rate's not high at any level.
Unless you try to maybe kick it to that far side of the field there and just hope your guy runs it down. But right now, good hands team, it looks like, on for Spanish Fork. I really think Salem Hills is going to end up kicking this one deep. I would be surprised if it's an onside kick.
It looks like they're kicking it deep.
Just from the way it's looking. Spanish Fork with one guy back deep, but probably won't touch it. They're going to go for the onside kick. They pop it up with a flag.
They were offsides.
They got the kind of the bounce you were looking for too, Chris, that kind of high bounce it up in the air. But now you're going to move it back to the 35, and now you kind of telegraphed, so to speak, everything that's potentially going to go on.
Yeah, you have, and so we'll see if they'll go that way. If I'm Spanish Fork, I'm running somebody else over to that far side. The other thing you can do is you can call fair catch on those. So we'll see if they try and hop it up. That's why a lot of teams will hop it, because if it hits the ground, then you can't call fair catch.
The ball has to go 10 yards, so it has to go to at least the 45 before Salem Hills can make an attempt to recover it. Here's again that high kick, and this one immediately called for a fair catch at the 40-yard line. And now a heads-up play there by Spanish Fork. But now the biggest thing you can do if you're Spanish Fork here, you get a first down, ball game's over.
Yes, pretty much.
Barring a fumble or a bad snap.
I guess the only way it wouldn't be over is if you pick up a first down on first down. But besides that, and that's not the worst thing that could happen, obviously.
Right. 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Salem Hills has all 3 timeouts. They'll be looking to try to wrap up, maybe go for the football and call timeout. Chappell from shotgun, 3 wide receivers to give right up the middle. Here's Lomax, and he will get about 5 or so on first down. And we'll see here if Salem Hills, we haven't seen the timeout come yet. I really kind of wonder if Salem Hills, after a 4-yard gain, they might just let it go one play and see.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. In Spanish Fork, I'd almost just take, you don't want to take the penalty, but wait for the official. We have no clock here, so I'd wait for the official to give you the 5-second warning.
2nd and 4, here's the give. Lomax is going to have the first down across the 50 to the Salem Hills 47-yard line, and now the Skyhawks will be forced to use the 3 timeouts, I would think, with 1:35 on the clock. And now, right now, we'll see here what Salem Hills wants to do, but I would think now you have to get a stop here on this set.
Yeah, you have to get a stop. They're letting this play wind down, and they're just going to rely on their defense to make a stop here. And if they don't get a stop, then if Spanish Fork picks up another first down, that would be huge.
Back here as Lomax this time will get back to the line of scrimmage. He'll fight his way back there with 1:05. And now I believe the Skyhawks will use their first time out here with 1:05 to play here, as both student sections right now holding the lights up on their cell phones back and forth at each other.
Yeah, so if you're Spanish Fork, you just need to pick up that first down. Salem Hills is going to have to use their timeouts the rest of the way. If Salem Hills is able to get the stop and get the ball back, they'll only have, 40-ish seconds to go, and they'll have to go a long distance, and they'll have to score and get the 2-point conversion. So a lot of ifs there.
If you take a look at it now, next week we want to remind you a 7 p.m. kickoff next Friday night from Spanish Fork High School. It will be Payson and Spanish Fork. Both those teams will be sitting atop Region 10. If Spanish Fork holds on to this one, they'll both be 2-0, and they'll be playing for first place.
Yeah, they definitely will. And if you go through, whoever wins that game's more likely than not going to make it to the playoffs. 4 teams make it into the playoffs. There's only 6 teams in the region. You win 3, you do the math, you're pretty much there.
2 games and you're kind of on the, that 4 line, as Chappell will give it right up the middle. Here's nothing again going for Lomax. And now another timeout being called here by Salem Hills. Only 4 seconds coming off the clock. And a nice tackle there by Jacob Rolfe. And now it's going to bring up 3rd and 10 and the second timeout by Salem Hills.
Interesting timeout strategy by Salem Hills. You see a lot of coaches take them as soon as possible. Spanish Fork had a couple of good runs. I don't think they necessarily used all the time they could. And now Salem Hills elects to use their timeouts after they get a stop, and they've done a good job on the last couple of plays of getting a stop and calling a quick timeout.
How do you play that? Put on your coach's hat. Are you calling them immediately? Or?
Yes, but I'm an impatient person, so.
Because that's always been kind of my thought and philosophy, especially when you get to about that 2-minute mark, you have to start using them.
Right, but Salem Hills didn't do it. And the one thing is we don't have a play clock here, so it's hard for Spanish Fork to know, hey, how long can I take? And you don't want to get that delay a game penalty, because that puts you 5 yards back.
And it might be kind of hard sometimes to see the official all the way in the back of the field that lets you know when there's 5 seconds. Here's Chappell. He's going to keep it. He's going to be well short of the marker. It's going to be about 4th and 5. And with 56.5, Salem Hills, I believe, uses their final timeout. So they'll get the ball back, in theory, with time to try to get in the end zone.
Yeah, and depending on how long this punt takes and the rugby style that Stanton uses, it's going to take some time off. So if I'm Salem Hills, I might be putting 2 or 3 guys back there just to catch it so we can maximize the amount of time that they have to score.
Because with the way Stanton's been able to punt, you're looking at that punt being, with that rugby style, Chris, Stanton can take about 6-7 seconds off that clock just on the snap and then kind of the run out. He can take a good amount of time off, probably close to 12 seconds by the time the punt's done.
Exactly, and that will give Salem Hills around 45 seconds to operate with no timeouts, which means you've got to run and gun.
It will be Mangum back deep. He's again to the very top of your screen at home at about the 24-yard line. There, you can tell he's keep an eye on it. There's a penalty marker that blows, and that will stop the clock. We'll see who the penalty's against.
Yeah, Spanish Fork's guard that time moved up to the line.
And so we'll see here. If it's against Spanish Fork, that will, I believe, stop the clock. Well, the clock's already stopped, so.
They need to add some time back to it, though.
And that's what they're doing right now. They're saying, put 56 seconds back on the game clock.
Needs to be 56 and a half.
Right here. It looks like they're saying 56 and a half right now. Looks to be, it's at 54.9, so that's going to put about a second and a half. A little bit over a second and a half back on the clock.
At least that's what I thought it was.
It was about, it was something, it was right around 56.
Looks like they're trying to reset it here.
They're going to put 55 on the game clock. Right here, which is interesting. And now I think one of the other officials is going to come in. I think what they want is they want this clock back to 56 right now. And I think now they're going to come over to the coaches. 56. 5-6 is what they're saying right now through the binoculars. They're trying to communicate. I don't think Salem Hills has coaches up here, because generally what they'll do, they'll have the sideline relay to the coaches to relay to the...
There we go. We got 56 and a half, and that's what I swear it was before the penalty.
Stanton to come in and punt. Low snap, and now another penalty flag comes in.
Penalty marker down before the snap.
And we'll have to go through this whole exercise again, unfortunately, right?
A legal procedure call. And Chris, the tough part right now, if you're Spanish Fork, is it went from being a chance to pin them back deep inside the 10 to now, if you don't get a good punt, you're giving them field position somewhere around the 40, 45-yard line.
Yeah, they've given them essentially 10 yards in field position on this sequence of penalties.
And again, another penalty marker will fly.
I might call a timeout if I'm Spanish Fork and just bring your punt team
and a procedure call right now against Spanish Fork. So now 15 yards of penalties here on the last 3 snaps. And right now, the interesting thing right here is now for sure you're going to have to put it in the air. It's on 4th and 22. Stanton back now for Spanish Fork at about his own 26-yard line. Zeke Mangum standing at the 40. Now he'll drop back. They get the punt off. It's a low liner. This is going to go to the opposite side of the field. It will roll inside the 15.
You don't want to touch it.
Down to about the 11-yard line. And now what you wanted to do, like Chris said, was I'm assuming you wanted them not to touch it, was to let all the time run off before it goes completely dead.
I wasn't watching the clock. I was watching the play, but it felt like maybe more than 10 seconds should have ran off that.
And so now Salem Hills, with no timeouts, will have the football at their own about 13-yard line with a chance to tie the ball game with a touchdown. They will need a 2-point conversion as well right here. The Skyhawks have a good passing attack and will probably looking to work the sidelines here.
Yeah, they have no choice, and if it's caught in bounds, they've got a substitution penalty.
They had one too many guys on the field, and Garrett Lloyd tried to get off the field in time, but they broke the huddle with 12. Or however that would equate in a kind of a hurry-up offense sort of thing.
You can't call it. A lot of teams will try and call a timeout to sneak somebody off the field. You can't do that because they didn't have any.
Now, I know in basketball, if you don't have a timeout and you call it, generally it's a technical foul. Is there a rule in football on that? If you were to call a timeout,
they don't recognize it's what they do. Okay. Basketball, it's a little hard because you signal, the refs usually will award it to you, but they just don't recognize it. I've never seen it happen, though.
What I wasn't sure is if there was some sort of penalty or something, if you called it, the refs recognized it and realized, hey.
It's probably some sort of delay of game. We'll have to look that up, though.
Back to throw with some time. Nelson looks towards the sideline, has his man. That is complete out to number 26. That's Cade Hancock.
I swear Cade Hancock's foot was out of bounds before he caught the ball. That should have been incomplete. You can catch it with 1 foot in, but if your foot's already out of bounds, it should be an incomplete pass.
A lot of time off the clock, about 4 seconds there to get a couple of yards. Nelson steps up, looks over the middle, has his man in and out of the hands, and dropped. Would have been a nice pickup there as Rolfe had that one in and out of his hands there. And now again, Chris, though, another about 8 seconds off the clock. And this is where if you're Salem Hills, you have to be economical with the clock.
Yeah, you do, but at the same time, the clock does stop on first down, so it's 3rd and 8. You still somehow are going to come up with 8 yards here in 2 plays.
Nelson back to throw here on 3rd and 8. Rolling out, looking up. Can't take a sack here. Nelson directing traffic, finds Rolfe. He'll have a first down to the 26-yard line, but now down to 28 seconds on the clock. And again, another 8 to 9 seconds off the clock there to pick up, in that case, about 8 yards.
And if Spanish Fork can get a sack here, that would really help the cause for them going 2-0 in region play.
The Dons rushing 3 down linemen, it looks like. 2 from a kind of a stand-up position, dropping the linebackers and about the 6 defensive backs. Nelson over the middle, has a man. That's Griffin. He breaks one across the 45. He'll be brought down around the 48-yard line, and now 20.5 on the clock. And now you at least give your team a shot, Chris, to kind of throw one up deep.
Yeah, and they're going fast. They're lining up fast. They do a great job of downing that ball.
Nelson will down it right now. 20.1 will be on the game clock here. Ball on the 47-yard line, and this is where
the clock never went out.
Right now, as now they're going to second down here. 20.1 on the game clock. 2nd and 10. 5 wide receivers for Salem Hills. Nelson back to throw, looking over, in and out of the hands. Again, intended for Hancock on the short route there. And that will bring up a 3rd down and 10. And now the official here from the sideline coming over. Looks like there's a penalty marker down. And we'll see here what the
ineligible receiver looks like.
Against Salem Hills, that will move it back. And now the question is there a 10-second runoff? There may not be in this situation. If there is, that would be very difficult there if you're Salem Hills. Skyhawks need to pick up, Chris, probably about 10 yards here and get out of bounds?
10 yards, and then you can try possibly to throw a couple into the end zone, but the clock starts.
Back to throw with some time. 10 seconds on the clock. Nelson going deep, looking for Griffin. Goes up. Did he make the catch in bounds? He did not. Out of bounds, and the Salem Hills faithful will have 6.4. And now, Chris, you're looking at probably a bunch of pitches all around the field.
We got some options with the hook and ladder combination, the Hail Mary combination. Not really very good options, though, because those plays usually don't work out in the end. You can also try and maybe throw it 5-7 yards and throw it out of bounds, or 5 to 7 yards and get out of bounds.
Lehigh had a hook and ladder work earlier against Alta in a not quite the same situation. Nelson going deep, looking into about a group of 5. It's going to be batted away, and there's no penalty flag down the field, and that one is over. Spanish Fork has came into Salem Hills and won a big one, 38-30. They hold on to get the win over Salem Hills. They spoil the homecoming game for the Salem Hills Skyhawks. We will take a break here on Spanish Fork 17. When we come back, we'll wrap this one up, and we'll have our MVP Sports MVP of the game. Spanish Fork wins 38-30 over Salem Hills.
Hi, welcome to Two Jacks Pizza.
For the best pizza you'll ever taste and our world-famous cheese sticks, come to Two Jacks Pizza on Main Street in Spanish Fork, or call us for a quick delivery. Are you hungry yet?
Come to Dickerson Automotive for all your car repair and maintenance needs. Now is a great time to make sure your car is ready for these cold winter months. We take the time to get to know you and your car to give you peace of mind. Dickerson Automotive, located way north on Main in Spanish Fork.
MVP Sports is the #1 source for sporting goods in Spanish Fork. Football, soccer, all the fall sports, we've got you covered. Check out our new custom t-shirt builder. Design at home and we'll build it for you. MVP Sports, 72 North Main in Spanish Fork.
The best time to check your furnace is before it fails, and you can rely on Triple T to do the job right. Our technicians are trained every year so you can sleep better at night, knowing your furnace is safe to operate. Call Triple T at 798-7711 to schedule your tune-up today.
Need a new car or truck? The Car Guys has the best selection of used vehicles at the best prices in Spanish Fork. The Car Guys know their automobiles to get you the best car for your needs and your budget. The Car Guys at 872 North Main in Spanish Fork.
Is this my car?
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments, there's one of these. That's why State Farm is there, with car insurance for when things go wrong, but also here with car loans to help life go right.
Call State Farm agent Lance Wilson today.
Nobody plans on getting in an accident, but if it does happen, you can rely on the expertise of Mike McKell to protect and fight for your rights. Specializing in personal injury law, Mike McKell is the attorney you need. Contact Mike at McKell, Christiansen, and Wise.
Well, here at Salem Hills High School on homecoming night, the homecoming festivities spoiled by the Spanish Fork Dons. The Dons made a quick exit off the field here. The Spanish Fork comes out on top 38-30. Ryan Pickens alongside Chris Hurst. Firework display going on here at Salem Hills High School.
Right.
I tell you one thing.
They know how to celebrate a loss here at Salem Hills.
They know how to do homecoming right here.
Yeah.
We've had fireworks all night. A great win here. Please excuse our graphic. It is 38-30 win for Spanish Fork. And Chris, let's take a look at this one here. As when you take a look at Spanish Fork, you knew there was a couple games they needed to get this year. They needed to get Orem, and they needed to win here tonight.
Yeah, as we see the students dancing here, I've never seen a high school celebrate a loss like Salem Hills. I've been to a few games where Salem Hills has lost, but they have fun no matter what the outcome, and that's great to see. But getting back to your point, Salem Hills started out fast and furious and got out to an early 14-3 lead, and credit Spanish Fork special teams for fighting back and getting them back in this ball game and taking advantage of maybe Salem Hills getting tired there towards the end of the ball game.
It looked like when James Nelson got the offense going in the first quarter, it looked like there for a few minutes, Chris, we could be in to see Salem Hills just find a way to get that offense going and find a way to score frequent and score often.
Yeah, and he was on point. His passes were very precise there in the first quarter. I swear he had 160 yards passing, and he was hitting guys in stride. Spanish Fork didn't have an answer until that second quarter where they ramped up some pressure.
it'll be interesting to see Spanish Fork in a position right now, 2-0. Let's go ahead and let's talk about our MVP Sports MVP of the game. A lot of different guys we could have gone with tonight, but a couple of times when Spanish Fork needed the touchdown, it was Way Stanton who got a big touchdown. The one that he had both of them in the third quarter, and he had one from a 35 yards out, and then he had another one later on. But both of them were placed, Chris. He had that one-on-one deep ball that he came down with that really at that point kind of gave Spanish Fork the lead with that second one and put the Dons up 31-27.
Right, and he also set up the Lomax run with the fake punt where he was able to get the ball completed downfield. Forgot who he passed it to now, but regardless, Stanton showed up to play and really helped get Spanish Fork going in that third quarter to get that lead and be able to put this game away.
And so it's one of those situations right now. If you're Spanish Fork, you have to really like the position you're in next week. You're 2-0 in Region 10 play. You're in a position right now, Chris, where you kind of look at it with 4 teams making the playoffs. 3 wins get you in, but 4 probably put you in talk for the top part. And right now, a big win over Salem Hills, who a lot of people had projected to finish in that 2 spot.
Yeah, and they got Payson next week, and that Payson's a very improved team. It doesn't look like they're going to be the bottom cellar dweller that they've been as in recent history. So Spanish Fork's going to have to bring their A game to compete against Payson next week, and we'll have that game for you as well. But you're right. If they can win that ball game and get to 3-0, they pretty much can make plans to stay at home. And yeah, we shouldn't get too far ahead of ourselves, but they'll definitely be in great position to make the playoffs for sure with a win next week.
There will be some great conversations for sure in that Payson Spanish Fork game. Another big kind of long-standing rivalry. The fact that both teams are going to be 2-0, both teams will be on top of Region 10, and really an opportunity for Spanish Fork. You talk about not just getting back to the playoffs, Chris, but you and I have both seen it with Maple Mountain and also Spanish Fork. When you're in that 4 spot in the playoffs, you're on the road playing a number 1 team out of their region. It's really hard to go up there and pull an upset.
It is extremely hard, and we've seen Maple Mountain play Woods Cross when Woods Cross won the region, and then we saw Spanish Fork in their last playoff appearance. They had to go up and play East, and that East team is probably the best team I've ever seen that year. That was a couple of years ago, and they've had a great program for the last few years, but you don't want to run into somebody like that heading into the first round of the playoffs. I don't think Region 12 has that team, but every once in a while Mountain Crest or Skyview steps up and makes a run for the state championship.
And you have Green Canyon, kind of a new school, their first year. That could be kind of an interesting one. But right now, let's go ahead here and let's just remind you one final time. 7 p.m. game next Friday night here on Spanish Fork 17. Back home at Spanish Fork. The Dons haven't been home in a little while, and they'll get ready for the Payson Lions, which should be a fun one here on Spanish Fork 17. We want to remind you can catch replays of this game and our many other broadcasts on our YouTube page, youtube.com/Spanish Fork 17. You can also follow us on our Facebook and Instagram pages as well to keep up with the latest shows, live broadcasts, and our SF17 staff. Tonight's MVP Sports MVP of the game was Way Stanton. Spanish Fork comes out on top 38-30 for our entire Spanish Fork Community Network sports team and my partner Chris Hurst. We're saying so long from Salem Hills High School, where the Dons spoil at least the homecoming football game for the Salem Hills Skyhawks by a final score of 38-30. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next Friday night when Spanish Fork takes on Payson at 7 p.m.